There he is, the star of the show, Marcus the Segal, on October 9th, 1998. And we're here in Amsterdam. And there's David studying for his SATs. And there's Mom putting away some stuff. And then we're going to go back and we're going to give you a little story.
Oh, come on.
You're okay, Mark. You're being recorded already. So, Mark, where were you born?
I was born in Shilki Topolnica. This is Eastern Europe.
And what about the town? What does it look like?
It's a village.
Describe a little bit.
It's a village, not a town. So it's about, I would say, 65 Jewish families.
No.
In about around 350, 360 people. But I can describe you every person in my village. From the grandfather, the father, to the son, to the grandson, whatever. And everybody's name. I really remember.
Everybody's name?
Everybody's name. I know the nicknames.
All right, let's give it a little test.
In the nicknames.
Who was the butcher?
Myron Katzev.
Myron Katzev.
Katzev is a butcher. But his name was Myron Din. But they call him Myron Katzev because he's a Katzev. Katzev in Yiddish is a butcher. Yiddish is a Katzev. In English is a butcher. They call him Myron Katzev. So he was the butcher. The shoichet was Kalman Weiser. Kalman Weiser was the shoichet. In the rabbi's name, I never knew. Roof, a roof. Yeah. And I never become the roof. That's all. But his real name, I never knew. He was childless.
You just call him the roof?
He was the roof, Katz roof. I know he was childless, he had no children.
He had no children? A roof without children?
No children.
It's a tragedy.
So only the name for the roof. He was from Romania. He didn't say like he, nine, style guy. He said name, stay, gay, you know, Romanian, you know, he spoke like the Lutherans. So he was somewhere from Romania. Very cool. Very cool.
So where is this town? Poland. Was it Poland? Or
Eastern Poland, yeah. Before it was Austria-Hungary. Austria-Hungary.
Yeah.
So after the Kaiser Franz Joseph lost the war, so the Polish took over, the Polacks took over. All Galicia, this is Galicia where I come from. They took it over and it became Poland. Until from 1918 till 1939. 1939 September, the Russians came over. So it became Ukraine, no more Poland, Ukraine. Then under Russian domination actually. So after now, in 1991, it became Ukraine again. Now it's no more Russia, now it's Ukraine, real Ukraine.
And this place, this town, you won't find it on the map anymore? It's too small?
I don't think so. My village was never on the map. It's very so small that maybe somewhere you can have it, you can find it, but you ask somebody, you can go to Lemberg, the biggest city, it's called the way like here, the state, you know, the state city, Albany.
Yeah.
You go to Albany and ask where is Almere, something like that. Yeah. Who's going to tell you? You have to come to a bigger city next to it, then people can tell you.
And what is the big city next to it?
Excuse me?
What is the big city next to it?
The biggest city was Lemberg, Lvov. In Polish you call it Lvov. In Germany, we call it Yiddish, you call it Lemberg. It was about a couple 100,000 people. There were maybe 100,000 Jews.
Oh, that's big.
Big city, big city. And my uncle lived there, my father's brother lived there, in Lemberg.
So you were born in this state? In a shelter.
When I was in Shilke, we only had 4 grades. 4 grades.
4 grades in the school?
In school. For the 5th grade, 67, I commute by the train in the morning, come back late afternoon. I went to 5th, 6th, 7th grade. I went to the next small town was Stare Samba. The Yiddish called Altstoot. In Stare Samba, I finished 7th grades. And that's it. And that's it.
So when you were born, were you the first child, the second?
No, my oldest brother was Alman. And then I had a sister, I was told, I don't remember, my sister told her she died as a child. And then was Esther, Chaitje. I came next, after me came Duvche. do it, Dukchi, do it. So, and when my mother died, when Dukchi was 2 years old. My youngest brother, I was 5 years old, and Dukchi was 2 years old.
So your mother passed away.
My mother passed away. My mother died.
Did your father ever remarry?
We married a few years later. Yeah, but we met a woman. She was very, very nice to us. She was just like better than just like a mother, exactly like a mother. Very, very, very nice.
Did they have any children?
No.
Between them?
No. My father died after that. He married, I think so, in 1935 or 36, 35 or 36. In 38, in 35, I think. In 38, my father died. My father died in 38.
In 38.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we only got 4 years. So we remained home without parents. She was our mother. And my older brother Zalman, he used to feed us. He used to go out and buy, do something, and feed the whole family.
So what was the parnassa from your father and your mother? What was the wages? What work did they do?
Well, we had a small store, really small store, which really wasn't much. It wasn't much, but my father died, it just went down altogether. But when my brother went to every Wednesday or Thursday morning, he went to a village 7-8 kilometers away, and he bought a calf. And we called the sheriff at home, and the sheriff had killed the calf. And I used to go out and used to buy meat, a kilo or half a kilo, 2 kilo meat, so from the calf meat. So I used to distribute it. I used to go out, and then I used to run 2-3 weeks for the money. So it remained as the skin for the calf. We should sell 2-3 zlotys, and then the head from the calf, and the feet, and then the lung and the liver. So we had a little meat home every week.
But how did you get the money to buy the calf?
Well, the calf we buy because we sold the meat, so we get the money back. We sold the meat, we sold the skin for the calf, and the kosher meat we sold to the Jews and to my neighbors in the town. But the meat, the hide, the meat, the back, the back stack of the meat was not kosher. It was kosher, but you could not take the veins out, so you always sold it to Gentiles. So the money came back, you buy new one. And then my stepmother used to buy bread every day. We used to sell bread. So a piece of bread remained. We had a cow, so we had a little milk. We had a garden. So summertime we had for the garden, a piece of onion, scallions, potato, something like that. So we survived. Piece of food we had. Or to buy a pair of shoes, or to buy a suit was almost impossible. Almost impossible. It wasn't enough money for that. It was tough. It was tough.
Yeah.
I have a rich, my grandfather was fairly well off. He had a lot of forest, a lot of land, cows, horses, but very little help to us. Matter of fact, he took a lot of stuff away from us. He never repaid. So it was tough.
It was tough.
But in the village, what you do, sugar was very expensive. So in certain houses, you had kerosene lamps. So you take a string, tie it up in the kerosene lamp, lower, like to the eyes, equal the eye, and tie it up a lump of sugar to the string, and give you a glass of tea, and take a button, they show you that way, button, put between the cheek and your teeth. Suck your button, look in the sugar, suck the button, and drink the tea. Somebody says, hey, don't look too much in the sugar. You're looking too long for the sugar. You don't touch it.
You're going to use it up, right?
Use it up with the eyes. So that's how it was in the village. 90% poor people. 90% real poor. 10% somehow they survived. One was very rich. One guy was a mean guy. He was mean. But very rich. He was the richest guy from Lvov, from Lemberg, until the Hungarian border.
And he lived in your village?
Yeah, the village. He had a lumber yard. They used to work for him approximately between 100 and 200 people. Over there. A lumber mill.
Yeah.
He would just sell lumber mostly to England and to Germany. He used to sell. So how he was rich, he was mean.
Yeah.
He was not good to the people in the village. He was not good.
That's not good. So
He left a lot of money in the Swiss bank
Oh.
for who can get it. It's
Yeah.
impossible. He had a secret number. You know, you secret number.
Yeah.
So that was the war till 1939. In 1939, the war started. So most all the Jews from the village, the Jews who had a nice house, something like that, so they evicted. The Russians evicted them, they make offices. They evicted my uncle Muncher, they evicted my neighbors, my neighbor, another neighbor, another neighbor. I bet I see more than half people were evicted to the villages, went to the villages. Us, we had a house, we had a store. They took away from us the big room with a store, they took away, but they left us the kitchen, a small room for us. They didn't evict us over there.
So what did the house look like?
Small house, we have we have a store, we have a kitchen, and a bedroom. A bedroom, dining room all together, 3 beds, a dining room, 3 beds. Yeah, table and 3 beds.
All the kids?
And I slept in the kitchen with my brother, I slept in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's the whole house. With a garden, we had a cow. And that's the whole thing.
And in the winter you had electric heat and...
Yeah, but then we had to wood for the winter.
Yeah,
we had kerosene lamp and we had a well, we put water right in the house of well. We prepared wood for the summer, for the winter. So we had enough wood for the winter.
And the winter was cold and it was like...
Very cold.
We had snow.
Heat, it was warm, the house was
Yeah.
warm.
So the house was warm, you were
Yes,
comfortable.
the house was warm, comfortable, yes. In the house, yes. And the seat was cold, yes. A little silver.
So who were some of the other people in the village? Was there a shoemaker and a dentist and a...
There was a dentist who could afford it. There was a doctor who could afford it. Couldn't afford it. That's too much money. Who got so much money to get?
So what did people do when they had toothaches?
Today, I told you what they did to me.
What?
I told you what they did to me. I went to Moshe Horman, Moshe Mutzi, they called him. Moshe Horman, he was a shoemaker. He was a tin man. He used to fix pots and pans. A pot has a hole, right?
Yeah.
So you took a piece of tin, you put sodium acid, and then you put a piece of tin on the top, and then you put saddle all around. So he closed up the hole. So they told me, go to Moshe Horman, to the shoemaker, he will fix your tooth.
Who told you this?
Well, everybody.
People,
He was like a dentist too.
Oh, he's like a dentist.
Yes, dentist too, but he did it for money, he did it for a favor to you.
Yeah.
So I went to him, he took a match, a piece of cotton on the match, then he dipped it into the sodium acid.
The acid.
He asked me which tooth it is, so I showed him, right here. So he went until he reached 9/3, he got my lip, he got my tongue, he pushed it into the hole, into my throat, he naturally stopped hurting. That's very true, he stopped hurting.
It burned it.
But my lip, so my lip healed too. But I was glad that my pain was gone. But then, after a few months, my tooth started to crumble. Because the acid without the root of the tooth killed, and then I had no teeth. You better off this way, because I couldn't take the pain.
But of course he gave you a shot for Novocaine before and he gave you some laughing gas, yeah, did all that?
He was a shoemaker.
Ah.
He was a shoemaker. Why come back over to you? Crazy or what? You're really He's okay. You're kidding? Yeah, I know what it is. They're not in a couple of years, we know what it is.
I'm telling you, I don't understand that. When we go to dentists now, it's a little different story.
Different.
Of course, we don't go to shoemakers for that.
I'm the shoemaker.
But did you ever go to shoemaker to make shoes or to fix your shoes?
Yes, he was a good shoemaker.
He was a good shoemaker.
He got 4 or 5 small kids.
Yeah.
Everybody was.
Was it tailor also? There was tailor. There was a tailor. There was.
He was a tailor. One tailor was he could not make a suit, but he did. He gave him a pair of pants. He turned the pants inside out. Follow me? The left side with the right side. He saw that again.
Why did he do that?
Because the right side was worn out. Oh. The inside was still like new.
Oh.
So he turned it over. He saw that. From a vest, he made a hat, a cap. For the cap, you make buttons for covered buttons. So nothing went to waste, actually, So then they had another tailor, this is a young guy, and 3 brothers together. So this was the tailor. He could make you a suit to order. Which he did make suits to order. He was good, but it was expensive. Could afford it. Could afford it. So this was my village.
So this was but there were other people there, I'm sure, that to help.
We had
65 families. They must have done other things.
We have 3 synagogues.
Yeah.
We have 3 synagogues. So you know which one? You want down here, there's one here, you want Mizrach, here want that. There was just 3 synagogues.
You mean you had Orthodox, Conservative,
No, all
and
Orthodox.
Reform?
All Orthodox. No Reform. Only Orthodox.
Yeah, I understand.
Only Orthodox.
Yeah,
So you daven in different places, you know, so different two
Yeah,
shuls.
yeah.
One was the main shul, one was a small shul in the beginning of the village, and one was a shul, the rich guy, Sobey Glick, from Lompayard.
Yeah.
He didn't want to go to shul, to the main shul, so he made a shul in his office. One of his offices, he made a shul. He had a Sefer Torah, so my father went down there to the Lompayard, and I went down with him.
And you had a minion there.
Only Friday night and Saturday. The whole week went to big shul, to the regular shul.
And you daven, everybody davened every day, 3 times a day, and you know, this
like
was
12 every day.
every day.
Every day, like 12 every day.
Yeah.
Till the Rosh Hashanah.
All 65 Jewish families were,
Everybody.
you know.
Everybody like 1,000.
So were you like
True.
payas?
Sure, I had payas. Yeah, I had payas. Sure,
payas.
not big one, but I had payas. Sure,
Yeah,
I had.
yeah.
I didn't have long hair. I used to cut the hair because you could like twill, you know, with long hair. You can do that.
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
to put the twill on the scalp, close to the scalp.
Yeah.
You know, better off.
Yeah.
So.
And you said before, you went to like a school for the first 3 years? What was that school?
No, not that, but the Zeyda.
You went to Zeyda?
The Zeyda. For a few years, Zeyda. I started from, I think, 4 or 5 years. I started Zeyda. And then for 6 years, I started school. And that's it. I went to 7 grades.
So what's life in a Zeyda? I don't understand. You know, what
It wasn't so good.
yeah, but
It
why?
was, the rabbis was miserable. Some rabbis were okay. Some, and call them Melamed.
The Melamed.
Melamed. Some that really vicious. They had a whip, and they really beat you. They really beat you.
And they actually beat you up?
Really beat you. Really physically beat you up.
Where?
Not only that, but he had beaten up good by the rabbi, by the Melamed. And some of my friends went to my father, told him that the rabbi hit me. He came home, there's no question, he hit me again. Because once the rabbi hit you, I mean, you were bad.
You were bad.
So, no questions asked. There's no questions.
So, were you bad?
No, I wasn't good. Tell you the truth, I wasn't so good. I don't like it. Who can like the rabbi? I mean, Melamed. Who likes it? Nobody likes it. I mean, truthfully, nobody likes it. Well, see, you go to the Zeyda, you didn't go forcibly, you know, you didn't go with Reishik, you didn't go with joy, you didn't go to Zeyda. You went, but you had to.
Was it just you or the other kids were
the
like
same
that?
thing. But maybe I was worse than others. I mean, you know, I was a little mischief. I took a
little troublemaker.
A little troublemaker, yeah. Then this was my pleasure. To be a troublemaker, and I had other pleasure. So this was my pleasure.
So what? You go like half the day to Zeyda and half the day to
Yes. When you go to school, you have it in Zeyda, have it in school. But you didn't go to school, you have all the Zeyda. Until school.
And the Zeyda is only for boys?
Only for boys.
Only for boys.
There was somebody, girls were teaching by Sianke, but very few, mostly boys. Girls didn't go.
There were a lot of children in the Zeyda?
No, I don't know, maybe I can count them. I don't know, my age, maybe 15, 17.
Oh, yeah.
That's it, boys and girls. All the ages, you know, each age, we had 3 parties. One was a Beitar, you know, I was a revisionist. Then was the Achwa, the Stamzionim, and then was the Gardonia, the left party, you know. Each one in the Aguda. Each one won 3, 4, 5 children. Each one promised you more, come here. So the Beitar promised us a ping pong table. No ping pong table.
Yeah.
So everybody went to the Beitar. Then the organization will give you sakya. So we went for there, went for sakya. They come back over here. So we were joking the party. You know, it wasn't so good. No?
And who was your favorite teacher at the Zeyda? Do you remember?
No
No favorite.
The Minas I know. Okay?
The Minas you know.
The Minas I know.
So what was wrong with it? What was the story with the meanness here?
Because he had a habit. He was sitting and, you know, he'd be quiet. He had mustache, long mustache. He took the mustache and stick in his nose. The edge of the mustache and stick in his nose, you know, sticking in the nose. I couldn't take it, I couldn't stand it, you know, sticking the mustache in the nose. I couldn't take it, you know. That's why I took mission to him. I don't like it for that. And then they say, avoid something, you talk to your friend, say something, or you pinch him or something, you took the kanchik, bang, punch it, bang.
What did he bang in the hand?
The kanchik, the hand, and whenever he could. Whenever he could. This was until 19...
But you got even with him, right?
Yeah, I got
you. You got even with him.
I got even.
So, how did you get even with him?
I stood behind him, on my knees, and I told a friend of mine, he should give him a push, you know, backwards. And he fell over me.
Backwards?
Backwards, over me. And I know he hurt himself, other things about he was okay. But then he got furious. He got furious. So then took me, the boys took me, and they pulled down my pants.
Which boys?
The boys, my friends, all my friends. He told me to do so. They had to listen to him.
Oh, he told them to...
They did it. So they put me on a chair, and a few boys holding my hands, a few boys were holding my feet and my head.
This is your friends?
My friends. Yeah, they had to do because the rabbi told them, the Balama told them. And they died. They went to Michael Katzef. He was next door to us, Michael Dent. They went to Katzef, the butcher. He had roosters and chickens. So they took a rooster, from Michael Katzef, a rooster, and they took oats. And they put the oats on my behind. You know, the splinter, my behind. And they holding the rooster with the hand, he shall eat.
You should peck it.
But he won't do it. My chicken, my rooster, whatever, you hold him in your hand, he won't eat. Leave him loose, he'll eat. But hit him with the hands, he won't eat. So what he did, with his claws, the feet, he scratched my behind. He was bleeding like hell. He was bleeding, it was hurting. I started to scream, finally let me go, but my behind was all bleeding. So before I go home, so a friend of mine went to tell my father what I did is, hey, my father was waiting outside for me. Monik, to my head. He took my head between his knees, smack in my eye. He was bleeding and he smacked in my eye. Torture. It was torture. It was torture. So I was guilty. I was guilty twice.
You did it.
I did. So I didn't say anything. I knew it was like that. I knew I had to take it as well. And I did it. I suffered and I did it. This was in 19... Then I couldn't get a job. I got a job. My stepmother...
Wait. What job?
My stepmother went to...
You mean this is when you were done with the cheder?
Done with the cheder. So in 1938, my stepmother went to Segal, you know, they had the lumber mill, the rich Jew.
Yeah.
So Segal.
So you were about 16 then? Because you were born in 22.
Yeah, 22, this is 1938, about 15 and a half. The summertime, about 15 and a half. Went to this, please give me a job, do something. So I was there, my cousin, Mitch's brother, Schulen, was working in the lumber yard. He got paid, good paid. So he had a measurement, feet, because all the lumber was cut on boards, was cut on feet, 5 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet, you know, English measurement. It was sent to London, to England. So he had a big stick of 6, 7 feet. He has to go hold it. He has to measure. To cut it. You know, the Ukrainians cut it. So I was working there for 6 months. The whole winter I was working there. The whole winter. It was cold, frost, cold. The whole winter I worked. Finally, he came in Pesach. Pesach in 1938. Pesach 1938. So he called me to the office. He gives me 20 zlotys. 20 zlotys for 6 months. 20 months for 6 zlotys.
Yeah.
He gave me equal $4 for 6 months. He told me, go home and never come back again. I don't want you to know. And my father was already in bed dying. My father was already in bed dying. His father died 7 weeks later. In June 1938, he had cancer. and I had no job. And it was trouble.
So your older brother did some work, right?
He was the one who, my
support-
father was sick for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
No, he couldn't work, so he was the only one who supported us. And then a year later, the Russians came in, the war started, Polish.
Yeah. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, as I said.
So you went to the cheder in the morning, and then in the afternoon, you went to public school or something?
No,
Public
we
school?
went to public school from 8 to 11 in the morning, first public school, 8 to 11, 3 hours. And then came home from 12 to 6, we had cheder.
From 12 to 6.
Yeah, 12 to 5, 12 to 6.
And what did you learn in the public school?
No, what do you learn in public
This is
school? What do you learn in
you
public
learned
school?
Polish,
Yeah,
and
that's it.
arithmetic, and
Yeah, well, but that was what they teach over here. So
was it only the Jewish kids who went to public?
No,
This was already with
Ukrainians,
the
in Polish altogether.
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 So how was the relationship between the Jewish
It wasn't
kids and
too
the
good. It
Ukrainians?
wasn't too good. Always had życie pershevi, each the Palestinian,
What does that mean?
Jew bastard go to Israel, Jew bastard go to Israel. It wasn't good. It was no good at all.
So do you have any problems with the kids
Yes,
there?
yes,
I mean, you
yeah.
remember some things about it?
Well, fighting,
Fighting.
Yeah, what are you going to do? If you hit him, and it wasn't so good. It wasn't so good. So, you did your best,
Do you remember how many non-Jewish people there were there? So there were 65 Jews.
Well, I would say there would be 60 Jewish and 60 Jewish children, 40% Polish and Ukrainians.
Okay.
60-40.
All right. So just wait right there. We're going to switch the tapes.
Well, I've been 2 years at third grade to 2 years at the fourth grade.
2 years in third grade and 2 years in fourth grade.
Not that I wasn't that good, but I was that bad. But she knew I couldn't go to high school. She knew it. So and she let me go. She wouldn't have a job.
Teacher.
She wouldn't teacher. She wouldn't want to teach. But she let the children, my cousins, another 2 girls, another 2 boys, they went to Sambo, to high school, so they let them go, one year third, 1 year fourth, because she knew they can go to high school. Those kids who couldn't go to high school, she let them over 2 years in third grade, 2 years in fourth grade, this way. And then 5th, 6th, 7th, I went to already a different city, a different town. Used to go in the morning with the training, used to go 6 in the morning with the training, come back to 3:30 with the train, come back. So I used to go there 5th, 6th, and 7th grade. And started summer. Out to it,
Yeah.
started summer.
The other kids did that too?
Huh?
Other children did that too? They went to school?
This is school, yeah, other show too. Everybody went 7 grades,
Yeah.
but also at the summer. The Sarasamba, the school was only a boys' big school, only for boys, also at the summers. There was one Jewish teacher there, Professor Pressler, he had a hunchback, but he was very good in arithmetic. He was the mathematic teacher, and so only Jew was a teacher. And also he teaches religion. He had one big religion, 1 hour a week religion. He taught us some for Chumash, small things, He had to have religion 1 week. So the Catholics have to. So he had to have religion, 1 hour a week.
So what do you remember from your brothers and sisters
No,
when you were children?
nothing that's special you can think of. Working very hard, and that's it. To survive it.
So who were some of the other people in the community there?
Yeah, I can tell you everybody's name. You go from one
You said
corner
that.
to the other. All the names, the children they have, everything.
So it was really close community.
It was a small group, but 65 families. What's the big deal?
Yeah.
What's the big deal? Know everybody. First
Yeah.
name, second name, children's name,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Was there a doctor in the community?
There's a doctor in the village, yes, a Jewish doctor.
A Jewish doctor, just for the, but he helped everyone. He was a doctor for the whole community.
No. He charges you 5 zlotys to come in to see a sick man. Charge you 5 zlotys. 5 zlotys was $1. Who could afford to call him for $1? He gave you. He wasn't a good doctor either. No. So he went away with the Polish army. So So and his wife and his daughter, the Russians took away to Siberia. But in fact, he remained. He was alive. He lived in, his daughter lives now in Israel. She's still alive. She lives in Israel.
Yeah.
Doctor story. And doctor died in Israel. And that's it. The rest died in.
So what did you do like after school or in this? Yeah, do you remember you came home?
Working. I was working. I was chopping wood. I was bringing water. I was taking, and things chores in the house. A lot of chores to do in the house. I had to do, with a cow. We had to go out there and clean the stable of the cow. There's a lot of things you had to do. A lot of things you had to do. Do not fool around too much.
How about when you didn't have school, like in the summer or something?
In the summer, some had more time. Some we ran around already, in the garden, we ran around the field. We mostly the play is handball. We played a lot soccer and handball. We played a lot. Mostly Saturdays. During the week you couldn't do it. Saturday, Sunday sometimes. So Saturday we play football. We play handball.
Yeah.
That's what we play. It's almost in kitschke. A stick with a back and throw it out.
Oh yeah. And you go and you chase the you chase it with the stick.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. So.
Yeah. And did you ever go to the big city at all?
No, I was to start a samba, to school. I was in small.
That was it.
I could not go to the big city. I think I was there once. Once, that's all. Okay, it cost 2 zlotys to go, about 40 cents to go to the city, 40 cents back. Almost $1. Didn't have it. We had $1.
So you never left the town?
No, mostly I was went to school to the next village, the next small town. But that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So you were about 16 or 17, and you started hearing about World War II. The war was coming.
We started hearing. You see, the paper started writing that they have problems in Germany. 1937, 1938, a lot of problems. Nobody could believe that what the Germans are doing. People don't believe it. They say it, they're doing it, they're killing Jews, that concentration camp made for Jews. People couldn't believe it. That's impossible. The Germans should do this impossible. So we didn't know that until the war started, but the war started September 1st, 1939. The Polish army was running away to our village without a leader, without a captain, without a lieutenant, without a sergeant. They were running to with their own. They were disintegrated, the Germans. So in September 17, the Russians came to our village. No, first the Germans came. The Germans came. Yeah, the Germans shouldn't cross over to war. They crossed the River Buk. The River Buk was the border where Stalin and Hitler made an agreement. So the Hitler's army went over the River Buk and came to our village, and other villages. They were just on Yom Kippur, in 1939. Yom Kippur, they were in our village. Bathed before Yom Kippur, and after Yom Kippur they left.
So what did everybody...
Saturday was Yom Kippur.
So what did everybody think?
Nothing. They said anything. Matter of fact, 3 soldiers, German soldiers, came to the synagogue. And they listened how we pray. They didn't say they do anything wrong.
No kidding.
Nothing. One soldier came to our house and with a can, say they had milk. So we gave him filled up with milk. He wants to pay, so my stepfather says no, he won't accept money from him. He says no.
No kidding, really?
So in Sunday mornings, they all left. They left. And some Polish priests and Polish dignitaries, they went with the Germans. Escaped the Germans, they escaped the Russians. But the Russians went to Siberia, so they went with the Germans. Where they went, I don't know, but they went, I saw them riding in carts after the German army. They left. And the Russians came in.
And you just lived in the house like normal?
No,
everything was normal.
The Russians came in 1939, the 17th of September they came to our village. So they evicted a lot of people, A lot of Jews were evicted.
They were just evicted from the home?
From the homes, yes. But they did, for the houses, they made offices, a lot of offices. So they left us. In our room we had 3 rooms. They took away 4 rooms. They took away the store, the big room they took away, and they left us small room, the kitchen, small room, the cow, was with us still. So we baked bread and I got a job on the lumber yard. I got a job. I made money already, you know. So I was glad. I was better over the Russians than by the Polacks. So I worked on that lumber yard with the Greek. He left. As a matter of fact, that's Surveyor Greek. He had a daughter in a city in Rovno. Matter of fact, I met him in Lemberg. I was on to Lemberg, and I met him on the street by the Russians. And then he went to Rovno. So his daughter, the oldest daughter, who lived in Rushka, she lived in Rovno. When the Germans came, he and his daughter died for starvation, starved to death. And his other daughter, Helika, in Sando, she also starved to death.
So the Russians were in your town, and you just lived normally?
Lived normal, we had no problems. I was working, my oldest brother was working, my sister, my youngest sister, Heidi, she was working by the church. She was secretary by the church.
Russian judge? A Russian judge?
Yeah, she was secretary. Matter of fact, because of her, I'm alive today. Because she, when the Germans already came in, the war started, the German-Russian war started June the 22nd, Sunday morning. And Friday morning, a.m., 6 o'clock, Russians left. So my sister, the day before, went to the church. He lived not far from us, a few houses away. And she begged them to take me with her. Haitje, back. So in the church agreed to it. So I and another 2 girls left with the Russians on the horse and wagon. And they left and we went to north. We went east. You follow me?
But before the Germans came, you just lived a normal life. For how long was that?
The Russians, until the 27th of September, 27th of June, 1941.
So it's about 2 years or so.
Almost, not even 2 years.
So it was just a normal life. The whole village
was a normal life. It was not a normal life, but it was not torture. It was not. We had no concentration camps. You could get a job if you want to. You could get a job. You could not live nicely, but you could survive.
But did you go? The Cheder was still going.
No,
the schools were going.
You could go, but the Cheder no more because they still was. If you would go to Cheder, you could go to a private house, private. You could go. But Cheder, actually, the Cheder was not existing. The synagogue existed.
So they let you go to shul. There was no problems there.
The synagogue, they go to started with the synagogue. Yes.
So who was the leader of the town? Was it a Polish guy or was it
Russian?
Everything was Russian.
Everything was Russian.
It wasn't Ukrainians. It was Russians.
No,
real Russians.
Only descended from the Soviet Union, from Russia, descended to us. You know, and they were the leaders.
And there were soldiers in the area.
Soldiers,
they were all Russian.
Yes. A lot of Russian, Jewish soldiers, Jewish lieutenants, Jewish officers.
Oh,
yes, a lot of them. Yeah, sure.
So that you had enough food to eat?
We had enough food to eat, yes we did. Yes we did.
By that time your father already passed away?
In 1938,
and
in
it
June.
Was just you and your brother and your sisters and your stepmother?
And stepmother, yes.
You know that?
Yeah, so we lived normal life.
We
lived just about the same as the Polacks. Like before the war.
But you already heard what's going on the other side, right?
Yes, we did. But you couldn't believe it. Nobody believed it.
Still didn't believe it?
No. Nobody believed it. As a matter of fact, we left Friday. I left Friday with the Russians in the morning. So Friday was no man's land. I mean, nobody was there. No Germans, no Russians. You follow me? So Ukrainians took over the village.
Now wait. I don't think I understood that. So
the Russians, I left the Russians.
So you were there for 2 years. Almost 2 years. The Russians were there. Then what happened? All of a sudden, something happened.
Yeah, the war started the 22nd of June.
22nd.
Sunday morning, the Russian, the German started a war against Russia. They call it Barbarossa. The war, the name of the conflict. They call it Barbarossa.
And the Germans attacked.
The Germans attacked Russia.
Now, how far away were you from the village, from the border?
Not too far away. Not too far away. Maybe German border from the Germans, maybe 50 kilometers.
Oh, 50? 50?
Yeah, 50 kilometers.
So you were very close there.
Very, very close. But I was later told they surrounded us. They go to the village, went around our villages. But I don't know what. I wasn't there, I don't know.
So, but there was enough time when they started to attack
There
to
was time because Sunday morning started the war, and Friday already the Russians left.
Sunday
the Russians
morning. The
left.
war started,
Yeah,
and by Friday the Russians
The 27th.
evacuated all the Russians,
all the Russians left.
and that's where your sister.
You ran to the way, but she's working for the judge.
Yeah.
That's why she told me she should take me. Why she did it, I have no idea.
And why?
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
but
I don't
she
know.
said to take you, and
Yes.
you went,
And they did.
and your brother stayed,
Everybody stayed.
your family stayed,
Everybody, the whole,
everybody in the village stayed,
Yeah, 3 more girls
and
left.
3 more girls went with you.
Yeah.
And the judge was a kind person to take you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went.
So what happened? He actually, you just left the family, you knew you
They
were
should
going.
away. The backsack, a piece of bread in it, and that's it.
How'd you feel?
Well, I don't know. That's me. I don't remember. I remember just going away. How, what, I just can't recall it anymore. I know I just went away with it. I was 17 years old.
So you went on what?
On a horse and
walk?
carriage.
Horse and carriage.
Yeah, went to Well, and then they were bombed several times on the way. We were shot at from the roofs, from the attics, from the Ukrainians for shooting at us.
The Ukrainians were
Yes,
doing that.
yes, they shooting at us. Finally we made it, and
Now,
I
why the Ukrainians?
But they hate
The Germans
the
weren't
Russians.
there.
They hate the Russians. The Ukrainians hate the Russians.
But this was in Poland.
It's in Poland, but it was Russian, it was Ukrainian territory.
It was Ukrainian
The
territory.
Polish took it all. And Ukrainians say this is our territory. Most live there, Ukrainians.
So Ukrainians live. Most of the people
Were
in your
Ukrainians.
village,
Were
in your
Ukrainians.
area, were actually Ukrainians.
90% Ukrainians.
So if I look at today the map,
Yes, Ukrainian.
it's Ukraine,
Ukraine,
is where you
correct.
are, not in
Correct.
Poland actually.
Not Poland, Ukraine.
Okay.
So,
So
took me away and I went.
So the Polish, the Ukrainians were.
So we took me away Friday, and but Mircea told me, Mircea survived the war. He's a samba, of course, you know Mircea in Israel.
I know. Mitchell.
She told me how my brother was killed. So Saturday, the Ukrainians took
You left Friday,
Friday.
and then
And Saturday, Ukrainians took, in the morning, took all the Jews out of the houses, men, and they took a sled. In June, a sled. You follow me? A sled is?
yeah, like
They
for
put-
snow.
Yeah, I took this in June the 28th. They put in the sled the bust from Lenin and Stalin. They put the rabbi, the roof, into the sled, and Herr Schronheiser is a bag with a belly, a Jew with a belly. He was selling, thing for make suits, all kind of materials and all that. And the Jews from the village had to drag the sled. In every 3 steps they made, had to lie down, kiss this Ukrainian soil. This is my Mitchell told me. And they schlepped that sled 3 kilometers to the river Dniester on Saturday. In every 3 steps they made, they had to lie down, kneel and on the ground and kiss it. And they took the sled to the river Dniester. They had to dig a hole and bury the bust from Lenin and Stalin. My brother didn't want to do that. He didn't want to drag the sled. No, he was a tough guy. So just see by 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, one of the Ukrainians got my brother. He started to hit him first. So my stepmother was running in the front, and she got her. She wouldn't let him get hold of him. She was protecting him. She chased her away, and they hit him. And then he took a piece of paper and read down that you are condemned to death. He took out a sword and cut off half a head on my brother. Half a head, cut him off. So right after that he bled, he put him in the gutter, and he bled to death in that gutter. Took me too long, but half a head was cut off. He was in that gutter Sunday, Monday. Tuesday, the first Germans came into the village to shoot him. So my stepmother and my sister were begging to bury him. So wherever he was laying in that gutter they buried him. So he was the first victim in the village.
And it wasn't even by the Germans. It was by the local people.
But my next door neighbor, Ishke Grieberg, he was 1 year older than I. He was going back from Sambo to claim his house. So one village before ours was Lizhik. There was vicious Ukrainians. So they caught him. They put a rope around his neck, in his arms, his neck. He sat down on a horse. He dragged him for a few kilometers till he died. But the second one. The third one was Geddy Barrett. He was about 3-4 years older than I am. He was standing in front of the house on the street, you know. When Germans trucks went by with soldiers, one soldier took out a rifle and shot him to death, just like that. So he was a toilet. And then my cousin killed. And everybody about Thomas will be in June, about July. About in July, the middle of July, they took in 1942. This is exactly is Kuf Aleph Uf.
Kuf Aleph.
They came, they took away all that remained alive in Stiltje. They took him on, I don't know, or with a train or with trucks. They took him away to Belgium.
Who told you?
The Germans, Mircea told me.
Mircea told you.
Yeah.
She was there.
She was a sambo. No, she had a woman. Her name was Karolka Schneck. This Karolke, when she knew them very well before the war. So she was. You couldn't go from one town to the other, by the Germans.
Yeah.
Stay there. You couldn't go even out of the village. But she was going from Schilke to Sambo. And Mircea was in Sambo. So she used to correspond. So she told what happened to my brother. She told what happened to everybody. She told to Mircea. So then
So you don't know exactly what happened to your family.
Mircea told me what happened, but Karolka told
She knows what happened to the whole village.
She told me, she came from Shulka to Sambo all the time, back and forth.
She told you what happened to your sisters?
Yes, the sister, the ganz Shulke, they took away Kuf Aleph Uf.
Yeah.
Took them away. They say the rabbi that said, you should hold the Yusad between Kuf Beis and Kuf Gimel, because it took one day to transfer them to Belgium. They say 24 hours. Maybe to transfer them to Belgium. And Belgium was it was not a concentration camp, it was an inhalation camp. When you come there, they don't take you to work, nothing. Right away we took off them to the trucks, they right away went to the gas chamber. Everybody, not one was alive, did anybody, everybody. So when they looked at them, everybody right away was scared to that. Everybody was there. Like in Auschwitz, they took away young people to work. There no, there was just an inhalation camp. So they were killed about Kuf Beis or Kuf Gimel Uf. So that's why I say you can have the use whatever you want. Or Kuf Beis or Kuf Gimel Uf, you keep it inside.
And this you heard after
I came back home.
After you came back home.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, while all this was going on, you were with the Russian and the three other girls?
I was the Russian army. I was making away.
No, you went with the judge.
Yes. Then in Stanislav, a city about say 60, 70 kilometers, everybody started to bomb us there. It was bombed there, in the city was bombed, so I was hiding in a school. When the bomb was, then they went over, I went out, I couldn't find anybody anymore. So whenever I saw trains, I know the trains with grain go east, don't go to the front line, it goes like after the front, because the grain goes, back to Russia. So I was sitting in the grain, in the trains, in the cattle cars, and going east.
Just all by yourself?
All by yourself, all by myself. I came into Dnipropetrovsk, city on the Dnieper. I said the Dnieper there.
This is already in Russia?
Ukraine, already in Russian Ukraine.
Russian side Ukraine.
I was working there. In a blacksmith, you know a blacksmith?
Yeah.
So I was holding the make the air, pushing the air.
You found the job?
Found a job.
Yeah.
I was there.
There were other Jews there? And
I was there. No, I was the only Jew there. A few girls were there, yes. And I was there until the Germans were coming closer. So then we started to go further. And I went until I came out to Kuban. Kuban, yeah, that's Donski Kozaki. You know, the River Don, across the River Don. I went there, Krasnodar. Then Krasnodar I went to Stanica Labinskaya, and then I went to Stanica Mostovaya. In the Stanica Mostovaya, I stood there. I got over there and I went to a collective farm called Novaya Zhizn. I was working there on a tractor, just plowing.
You were plowing? You were driving the tractor?
Yes, I was driving it. I was taught to drive a tractor, which I did. I worked there till December. In December 23rd, they called me to the army. So they took me away. I went from there, I went to Baku, Baku in Azerbaijan. the city, the capital city of Azerbaijan, Baku, and then went by boat across the Caspian Sea to Krasnodar. On the side of the Caspian Sea was Krasnodar, and from there with another train he went to Lake Baikal. Lake Baikal, no, the Lake Baikal, the biggest lake in the world, you know, Sweetwater Lake.
Yeah.
All to Baikal, all to Siberia, till the end, till the Japanese border. You see, Vladivostok.
And you were a soldier already?
No, not yet. We were civilians.
You were just civilian, just going
Civilian.
there, yeah.
From there, and then we went to Razdolnaya. In Razdolnaya, they put the uniforms on, and we were there for a few months.
You were learning how to be a soldier?
How to be a soldier, yeah. I was taking rifles, take a Pata rifle, bag, clean a rifle, you know, kind of that.
I mean, there was no problem because you were Jewish?
Huh?
There was no problem because you were Jewish?
No problem whatsoever.
They knew you were Jewish because
Yes.
your identity.
Absolutely.
You had an identity card?
Absolutely. Never, I had no more passport. I had a Krasny Red Army book. Krasny Army Krishka. Red Army book. That had nationality. Еврей. Евrei, I mean a Jew. I've always gone to Jew all my birth. I only worked by Jew.
Did you have any problem with the language?
I learned the language right away. It took me 3 weeks. I knew the Russian language in 3 weeks. 4 weeks. Because Ukrainian and Polish is similar to Russian. I was young, you know, so I got it right away.
So you went all the way to the Japanese border. Were the
That's
Russians
correct.
already...
No, there was no war there.
No war there.
No war there.
There was
The
never-
war was to the east.
Right.
So I was there, and then they took on June the 22nd, 1942. They took us off from the Russian army because we are Polish citizens. And
They took you out of the Russian army?
Yes, because Stalin did not trust the Polish citizens, Ukrainians, because they were against them. So they sent me to Siberia. I was in Siberia for 8 months.
Now wait a minute. But you weren't Polish and you weren't Ukrainian. You were
Correct,
Jewish.
but they didn't go that way. I was born in Poland, that's it, that's enough. That's it. I told them I was Jewish. How can I be an enemy of the Soviet Union? The opposite. We can talk to them. That's the war. Once they said it, it's a Polish, once you born in Poland, that's it. So I was there
So
for
they
8
took
months.
all the
All the
soldiers
Polish,
who were Polish
Jewish, Ukrainians, doesn't matter,
Anything.
everybody. Only
And-
born in Poland.
and sent to Siberia.
Siberia. I was there in the coal mine, because I was working not down, but I was working up, you know, cutting the lumber, you know, to support.
Yeah.
So I was there, and I almost froze to death over there. And they took me away to the hospital. I was unconscious. They took me to the hospital. So then when they sent me, so the Polish army, remember army of Wanda Wasilewska?
So wait a minute. So how long were you in the
About 8
Siberia?
months.
8 months?
Yeah, about 8 months.
And the whole time you're working?
Yeah.
It's like it was like a prison.
It was a prison. No, it was a prison, but nobody got you because you couldn't run anywhere. Where could you run?
Yeah.
There's nowhere to run over there. So woods over there. So where you gonna run? You run 200 meters, you go to the woods. The wolves will eat you up alive. Where can you go? You can't go anywhere.
So did they give you food to eat?
Well, you have, you know, you have 200
Yeah,
grams of bread in the morning, 200 grams of bread at lunchtime, 200 grams of bread with soup, in water soup, you know, on the evening. So yes, a starvation diet.
So who was there besides the soldiers who were Polish or Ukrainian?
Mostly,
Were
there
they
were
criminals?
also Russians there, but they were prisoners. Right, they were
Criminals.
Criminals, yeah, they was with us, yes. We
This
were
was
together.
only men, no women.
Only men, no women whatsoever. We were there, and then they would take me to the Polish army, and I didn't want to go.
So
I-
wait,
I-
so after Siberia,
Yeah,
I mean, they came
wanted
to you,
you
somebody
come in,
came
they
to
tell
you?
me I should go to the Polish army.
To the Polish
It
army.
took me into a camp. The camp was like for soldiers. There were Russian soldiers too in that camp. But this side, the only Polish, Ukrainian Jews said, you go to the Polish army. And I hated the Polacks. And I would not go to the Polish army. I hated it. I wouldn't go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry now, but I didn't. I could find out in Persia, Iran, for that I could go to Israel, Palestine.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that.
So what do you remember from the days in Siberia? I mean, what?
What can I tell you? It's misery, that's all, nothing else. One word, misery. 8 months misery, that's all. Nothing to remember. You're working 18 hours a day.
18 hours a day.
18 hours a day. So, It's a
Medic.
salvation.
Every day?
7 days a week.
7 days a week,
7 days a week.
18 hours.
So, what can you remember?
And you're cutting wood.
Cutting
for
wood,
18
whatever they told you, what do.
But there was a hospital there because when you got
So they took me away. I don't know how I wound up there. I don't know. I was unconscious. I really don't know. So then they took me to the barracks and they waited for a night when they taken away for the Polish in Ukraine. The Jews were there, taken away in special barracks. Taken away in the morning. I ran out from the barracks and I slept outside. In the morning they took away the orders to the Polish army and I remained by myself. Say, where were you? Where were you? I said, I don't know. I make me brief, I don't know. So they took me, I won't remain, so they took me back to the Russian army.
So wait a minute. So
See? They took me to the Russian army.
so after 8 months in Siberia, they decided that they're going to They created a Polish army.
But the Polish army, their soldiers never fought with the Russian army. They took in to fight not on the Russian soil, but to fight when the Russian army will come
go back to Poland. So they held them in reserve, like that. So they started a real Polish,
but they didn't do it
like an army or division or something.
Yeah, the division. Vasilevska refused to fight. So they disintegrated the army for her, and there were different armies, Polish armies, different names.
Yeah.
But the whole army was sent away to Iran. In Iran, they went away to Palestine with help. So
so it wasn't just the Jews; it was all the Polish people.
Yeah.
Ukrainian also.
Yeah, also, everybody. And for there,
so they were rounding up the people from the barracks who were Polish, and you decided you didn't want to go.
I didn't want to go to Polish army. No.
You didn't want to go to Polish army.
I'm sorry now. I will find out. I will be already in Palestine a long time ago.
Okay, but you didn't do that. You ran away from in the barracks.
And I've been outside, in the morning. I came in, nobody there. I came in. Well, I told them I don't know. I was sleeping outside. I don't remember. I was sick or something. I don't remember. Anyway, they took me right away back in the Russian army. So they took me to a school, from officer school.
All right. So you hold it right there because we're going to take a break and change the tape.
Oh, you see that? Officer school. This was already in the Ural Mountains. So,
but you were still in Siberia, and then they decided to go
from Siberia. I was sent to the Ural Mountains.
To the Ural Mountains.
I was there in officer school.
Yeah.
And I came out as sergeant up there after about 6 months. And I was there still training, and then in 1944 I was sent to Leningrad with the Russian army. In Leningrad they put us new uniforms in Leningrad, brand new uniforms, everything new. You were sent to the front line. You will be sent to the front line. We knew already. So, and I was sent to not me, not I alone, because there were thousands of soldiers. Sent in the front line, and then the front was still on the Russian territory. We went before Estonia, and we fought our way to Estonia. We fought our way. I don't know how long I was there. I really don't remember. I have no calendar. I really don't remember.
Well, I thought you said you were in the cavalry or something?
Yeah, but I was trained to be in the cavalry.
While you were where? As an officer?
I was training, when I was trained.
Oh, back in the Japanese coast, where you were before?
There, yes.
You were
and also in the Ural Mountains. I was in the cavalry dragged by horses. You follow me?
Yeah, so...
The cavalry pieces were dragged by horses.
Yeah.
Not trucks, but horses.
Yeah.
Horses. So we were in there. Always I was trained to be a sniper. Before that.
Before the cavalry?
The cavalry, I had to be a sniper. After the sniper, I was trained to be in the cavalry. So I came to the front line, there's no cavalry.
Right, no horses.
No horses. So I was normal in the artillery.
So how was it like to train for the cavalry with the horses? What was...
It was tough. It was tough. Till I couldn't get used to it. This was in Gorod Voroshilovka. It was still near the Japanese border.
Yeah.
There I was trained on the horses. I was there, but there were no horses. Later I was on my horses.
Did you ever ride horses before?
No, I never ride horses. But they took me away the horses because They took me away from Krasnodar, from the Don, the Donski Kazaki. So over there took me to the army. I was the only Jew, or everybody was Cossacks. The Cossack was there. So once you're a Cossack, you're a Cossack. Well, they say, I'm not a Cossack, you are a Cossack. Because you take it from the region, you are a Cossack. That's it.
Yeah.
So
So
it was tough.
So
anyway,
you actually rode on horses?
rode
and,
on horses, yes.
You know, from place to
Yes.
place?
Yes, they took me
It wasn't difficult to ride on the horse, you
I
found?
couldn't ride over. They had wooden saddles, you know, with leather on the top. You know, I call it for the feet on the
Stirrups.
stirrups. So we were going this way, you know, up,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
I had blisters on my behind. Blisters, big old blisters. So I used to ride on the right side, foot on the left side.
Because you couldn't sit on the
I could
behind.
sit in behind. So the captain, so I put a twig and bang, sit straight. So bang, sit straight. Had to splashed up. And I couldn't take my underwear out. It was
Stuck to
glued
it.
in, stuck into my hind. This healed, took me weeks, this healed.
And then by the time it healed, you couldn't ride horses anyway because there was no horses to ride.
Down on the horses.
Okay, so you went to the front lines.
The front line,
And you
I
were a
was
sniper there.
No, not a sniper, not on horses. Just I became a master sergeant.
Yeah.
I had about 15 or 20 guys behind me. My job was, for instance, with the officer from the group 30 soldiers, for the officers a group with 70 or 100 soldiers. So for instance, the big keep the line open between the officers, keep the line open, but then me was that over there. So but the telephone lines were broken up by the bombing. I had to send people, you go there, you go here, you go there, you go there, tell them what to do, tell them what to say, what to do. I was there, the one to organize that. So I was there for quite a while, till we crossed the river Nava. We made our own bridge, on rubber wheels, from tires, and with the trucks and the tanks where they could went by, the soldiers went by across the river Nava. And this was in April 1944. And we crossed the river Nava and went in 5 kilometers deep in, we went in 5 kilometers deep in 1 kilometer the width. Just like a finger, straight with it.
That's crossing the German lines.
All German lines, all over German lines.
Yeah.
But we crossed from Russian territory to Estonian territory.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's what it was. So then, after a few days, they started bombers. At 3 o'clock in the morning, the bombing was terrible. So they cut us off. The Germans cut us off. So we became encircled. The one here, kilometer, the width, the Germans cut us off. We became encircled. There were so many wounded people, the wounded soldiers, I could believe it. It's really terrible, terrible. About 4 o'clock and at about 4 o'clock afternoon, something like that. I was sitting there, I got up, and I was hit from a German, maybe 30 yards away, with a machine gun. I got one bullet in my hand, and one bullet went down here, near my chest, to here. See? So 2 bullets. So I got scared here, but see here, they cut me out, they went out. So I went around and put my hand, I see blood. But see, the growth of my, it's not bad. It's not blood, but my heart is still beating. I'm still alive. But the hand was anyway like this, swell up. I couldn't get out. So my captain told me, Misha, you have to get out of here. When you get out, we have no help for you. We have no doctor, we have no medicine, we have nothing over here. We are encircled. So till we break out or somebody comes to help us out, so do something for yourself. So in midnight, the moon was shining, it was a full moon. And I went through the German lines. I saw them as soldiers. I saw them.
Crawling away.
I'm on belly, slowly. And I crossed the line, I came back to our side.
To the Russians.
The Russian. They told me which way to go. I don't know which way to go. The captain told me to go. So this way, straight. That's all. I don't know which way to go. So I went right in the morning, I paid the first Russians trucks came by. I started to say, hold it, please, take me to the hospital. He said, where's your rifle? I said, I have not a rifle. I was thinking about the rifle. My hands all up. I have temperature. It won't take me. So another truck came by a little later. They took me to the hospital. And then they operated on my wrist, on my hand.
So this was the first time that you were actually in fighting? When you were
Yeah,
in the
no,
force?
this is not the first time in fighting. This was the last time in fighting.
But before that, you were actually...
Also, I was slightly wounded several times, slightly.
But do you remember the first time you really got into
I know.
a fight?
I know we went several times. We went in the attack. We actually went into attack all the time, because the Germans also only retreat. So always the soldiers who attack always get more hate than one who retreats, because you defend yourself, you know.
Yeah.
So you get so many casualties, and the attacking forces get. So naturally we were hit all the time. We were hit all the time. All the time came in new soldiers all the time, fresh, you know, young fellas, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, you know, beautiful uniform, came in, 2 days later, a few left, from 100, 20 left, 15 left.
So were you scared during the time? Were you nervous? What were you thinking?
No, in the beginning, yes. In the beginning, I was not a hero, no, far from a hero, but I was scared to that, in the beginning. But later on, I didn't care no more. I didn't care. I see soldiers dead laying in front of me, I never pay attention. Matter of fact, when I got felt boots, you know, back for felt, it was still cold. So mine were all wet. My felt boots were wet. So I took off and that guy, his boots, his felt boots, and I put on my own. I put them on to my own way. It was just normal. You didn't pay attention anymore. They won't pay attention to me if I lay that over there. So you get used to it. Everything you get used. In the beginning, no. But later on...
Did you make any friends or comrades?
There was no friends there. There was no friendship there. Because friendship, how can friendship have over there? You talk to him and an hour later, the friend is dead. Or he is dead. Or he is dead. He is away. There's no friendship over there. When you go in the back, you take a rest for a few days, then you make friends for a couple of days, for 2 or 3 days. Then I was from there taken to the hospital. I was at the hospital in Leningrad. I was there maybe about, I would say, a month in Leningrad in the hospital.
This is after you escaped from the...
Yeah, just April the 20th, 1944, the last time. So then I was taken to Vologda, the hospital in Vologda, Vologda. I was in Vologda about 3 months. And from there, they sent me home for 6 months.
Home where?
Home where? So I went back to the village in Stanitsa Mostovaya, in the Kuban. From where I was taken to the army with the Cossacks, the same village. I was working in a collective farm. The same village I came back.
So not too far from...
Yeah, the fields I came back, because my village was still under occupation.
So this wasn't so far from the village?
It was, no, this was far from Leningrad. It was far.
Okay.
It was far, but they gave me bread, enough bread for 8 days voyage. But 8 days I was going to train. They gave me enough bread, and they gave me a ticket, and I went back to my village, and I lived with our old woman. She had 2 boys my age. I was there for about I came there in September 1944, and I was there till March 1945. In March 45, I left the village.
Right,
I came back to Samba.
All right. Why don't we stop there, and then we'll continue later. We are again the next day. And Mark, you had some things that you wanted to say that you may have forgotten before, yeah?
Yeah, something I missed to tell you. After I was in the hospital in Vologda, when I was about 3 months in the hospital, so they sent me to a labor camp. This was in Arkhangelsk. In that labor camp, we had to cut lumber and just push the lumber into the river Dvina. And this river was going to Arkhangelsk, and for this lumber they made probably building something, I don't know, whatever it is. But I was there, and in that labor camp there were a lot of people there, just like me. But I heard stories that they were Kazakh from Kazakhstan, Muslims. So the Russian wasn't very good, but I understood the They were there for about a year, several thousand of them. From the several thousand, maybe 200 were left. They all, during the winter, they all died. The winter was harsh and scarce food, and that was already here coming up autumn time. And I figured out if I stay there for the winter, I will never come back alive. So I decided to desert. To run away. Just it was an island, all around water.
You were still in the Russian army. You were a soldier.
Yeah, this was actually I was still in the Russian army, but not in the regular army, but in the labor camp. I could not go back to the front line because my left hand did not function. So my right hand was good, my feet was good. So they sent me to the labor camp. And from there I thought I will never get out. If I stay for the winter, I'll never get out. So I decided to desert and take my chance. Because I figured out either way I'm doomed. So I went to the guy who was giving out the bread. He was a chef. He gave every day a ration of bread. So 600 grams a day. So I came to him and I asked him, can I get the bread for the whole week? He says, no, you can do it. You have to get every day your ration. I said, you know what? Give me for 7 days. So my bread was 600 grams a day. So you give me for 5 days. In 2 days I'll leave it to you. So he agreed to it. So I had a pillowcase filled with straw. I emptied the straw from the pillowcase. I took the bread, I put it in the straw, and I was going to the river. And luckily I found a boat on my side of the river. It was an island. Before the war, there were prisons over there. So after me were running, 3 Russians were running after me. I thought they were going to catch me. I was scared. They said, no, where are you going? I said, I'm on the way. I'll go with you, 3 more soldiers, also wounded, with the arm and the forehead. So we all crossed the river. There was going one boat in 24 hours going back to Arkhangelsk on the river. So we got on the boat and we were going to, from Arkhangelsk back to where to go. We decided what to do. Well, going back home, I had to go to Moscow. If I don't go to Moscow, I cannot go home. All this the station with all the things are going all over. I figured out if I go to Moscow, they're going to catch me. No question about it. I have no papers, so I'm doomed. So we decided to go back to Vologda, from where they took me to the labor camp. The same thing. Yeah. We were there, and we decided we should go to the commander, whatever was the chief of the начальник of the town, and we came in and we told my story. This was not true. I said, you take him back from Arkhangelsk, a group of people, about 30 soldiers, so one lieutenant. In one of the stations, we went out to buy on the market, to buy milk, bread. So when we came back, the train was gone, and the lieutenant was gone. We were left behind. Now we came over here. We don't know where our lieutenant is. We don't know what to do. So the chief of the police there was with a beard. I thought he's a Jew face, a regular beard, a Russian beard. So he told us, go. You have till afternoon. If you won't find your lieutenant with your group, we'll put you to jail. So we went out, and we came back, and they put us to jail. There were about 30 soldiers in one small room, half the size of it, less than that, crammed in. And all of them ran from Arkhangelsk, and they told the chief that they ran from Arkhangelsk. We told them a different story. So then they were there about 2 weeks over there, and they took us to lunch, to breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They took us with the rifles, with the bayonets. We were in the middle, in the Russian bayonets, soldiers on the side. We just regular prisoners. We took them from breakfast to lunch, and then they come back to our room.
Why did you go back to? Because you knew you were going to go to jail.
I didn't know. Where could I go? I better go home to my son, to Chilki. I had to go to Moscow. No other trains, no other way I could go. I could fly, I could walk, I had to go a train. Yeah. They're going to catch me in Moscow, I'm doomed. So we went back there, from there they sent us to the doctors, for doctor's examination.
A doctor's examination?
Doctor's examination. Who was fit to go to the front line was sent back to the front line. Yeah. Who was unfit So sometimes they send him back to labor camp, some they send back home. And I was afraid to go back to the labor camp. I'd rather go back, but they send you to the army, they send you to a special battalion, which they send you to the first fire. The first fire was impossible to go through. They send those people, like me, you know, they call them, they were deserters, or they were criminals, they send you to the first line. But you go to the first line there, from 100, maybe 2-3 come back alive. Because, you know, they were
Front line, yeah.
line, because they were deserters. And I came in, was a woman, a doctor, a woman. She examined me. And to me, she looked Jewish. You know, face looked Jewish. I said, please do me a favor. You know, I'm Jewish. I don't know who you are. But I would like to go home. You know, she am wounded, ready in the Russian army a few times. So please, I beg you one thing. Or send me home, or send me back to that battalion, to go back to the front line. I'd rather die, but please don't send me back to the labor camp. Because there I'll die, but slowly, with pain. At least I'll die from a bullet. I'm better off. Or send me home. She didn't answer my word. Not one word, she said. Nothing. So a week, 10 days later, no, they went back over there, you know, the same room where we were examined. So they said they were announcing Segal Mikhail Yakovlevich. That's my name. Statya 11V. I mean, the number of my name is 11B. So the guys next to me say, Misha, you go home, you go home. This is meaning, this 11, Statya 11, where it means you go home for 6 months.
No kidding.
You know, was I relieved. So I go home. My home is still occupied. So I went back to the same village where they took me for. When I back in 1941, after they done in Krasnodarski Krai, in Stanica Mostovaya, where they're working in a collective farm, the same collective farm I went back.
And you had papers now that you...
Paper now that I was relieved, sure.
You were discharged from the army.
Discharged from the army.
So you weren't deserting
months.
Anymore, or for
No.
6 months?
No, because I didn't tell the truth.
Yeah, yeah.
You see, I really was a deserter.
Right,
Not
right.
for the regular army, but from the labor camp.
Right.
But here, when I was there already, they examined me and they gave me papers and I was relieved. I was truthfully, not deserting anymore. I was going home for 6 months.
6 months, and so you got like a leave.
A leave. So I went home to the same village and I met some boys that I worked together before I went to the war. I met one boy, he said, come with me to my house. It was an old woman, a Russian woman, and I was there for about a couple, I don't know, I was there with him, lived with him together for autumn or September 1944 till March 1945. So I worked there a little bit, I was staying there, I ate there, and I helped, the farm with her, so I was with him for a few months. And from there, I took one day a train, and I went back to Chilki. Chilki I couldn't go, I went back to Spas, but Chilki I couldn't go to because we have a tunnel for the railway station, for the railroad, the tunnel was bombed, so the train couldn't go through. So they made the whole thing came to Spas, about 12 kilometers from Chilki. So I was stationed there. I told you I took care on two kitchens. One kitchen was for the plain workers, and one kitchen was for the officers. And I have to, deliver food for them, the also cooking for the meals for both of them. So I was there till one day. I was very good time with all the sheaves, all the Chinese, because I had meat, I had butter, I had bread. So one, of course, would give me a food from a bull, from a cow. One was the liver, one was this. I gave them everything they wanted. I had plenty of meat. I have no refrigeration, but meat for 3 days. After 2 days, machine it was spoiled. So I had to give them away. One day comes a guy, he says to me, Misha, the challenge from KGB want to see you. So I got scared of that. I felt something was wrong. I come in and will shake his hand. I know very well. From this first time, I remember it. So he won't shake my hand. He doesn't know me at all. Like a stranger. I feel, that's it. That's it. I'm doomed. So they start to ask me questions. Did you deserted from the from the Soviet army? I said no. I said no, I did not.
But I thought you had papers that you were there for 6 months.
You see my papers? Show them. Here my papers. Yeah, this was after. But before you are deserted from the Russian army, and the Soviet army. I say no. I did. Were you in Vologda? I say yes. I told the truth. Because from there I got the papers. Yes, I was in Vologda. You were in prison? I say yes. But I told the story that I left, my lieutenant left me. You know, we were 4 guys who were left behind. We didn't know what to do. We went back to the same group. When I was, before they took me to the labor camp. We went there, we couldn't find our lieutenant, and I came back. That's the whole thing. So he interrogated me for about 3 hours. So I told him, you know, can I come back after that? Let me have a bite. I'll come back later on. He says, okay, we'll come back in 1 hour. You come back. And after the hour, but I ran away from the rail. I ran away to Samba. I just ran away. I took a rail, went about 6 kilometers. I went to the railway station. I took the train. I went to Samba. In Samba, I remained for about till April 1946. From Samba, I went away to Poland.
And how did you get away from this KGB guy?
I told you, I just went away. I just left him. I never came back.
You never came back?
And they didn't find me in Samba. I don't know why. They were looking for me or something. I really don't know. I really don't know. I opened up a store in Samba. I had a store. And then I went to Odessa a few times. I met Klarachka on the train.
Yeah, so just hold on. So you ran away from the KGB guys.
KGB guys, I came back to Samba.
You came back to Samba.
I've had a few friends. Riga was there, my 5th or 6th cousin. So other people there, so Jewish people there, and I got an apartment in Samba with 2 more boys. One from Turka bij Branchastown, and one guy not far away from me. So we lived, all 3 boys in the one room. And I went to the market. In Samba, I met Ukrainians, which I knew before the war. And so he told me that one peasant, Fedor Matkivsky, really knew him very well. He was a well-known guy, well-known farmer. He got a postcard from Uncle Willie. And I wanted to, I didn't know Willie's address.
Willie was...
Willie wrote to him, to shoot him.
What's your relationship to Willie?
He was a peasant.
No, Willie.
Willie is my uncle.
He's your uncle from your mother's side?
Mother's side. My mother and Uncle Willie, sisters and brothers.
Sister and brother. He also came from the same village?
Yes, she Chulki.
She came from Chulki?
He went to America in 1936. Leah came from America. She married him in Chulki. Then she went to New York. A year later, he went to...
All right, so we'll come back and talk about it. So you got a postcard. So
I went to my village. I was really stupid, you know. I was really ignorant. Because there was the Banderas. There's a group of Ukrainians which they hated the Jews and they hated the Russians.
Now wait, this is already, Chulki was already liberated by the Russians. So from Samba you went back to Chulki.
No, I couldn't go to Chulki because I went only once. I went to Chulki once just to take the postcard.
Oh, just to get the postcard.
Just in Topolnica, one village after Chulki.
Okay.
So when I came I took a truck with the army actually, and I went to Chulki, and I went to Topolnica, to the village, and I was stupid because they were there, but they knew I'm coming there, they will kill me. A Jew could not show his face in any place of that. So I just didn't think of that. Maybe I was thinking, but in my mind, only I wanted Willie's address. That's it, in New York. So I went to the village, about 2 kilometers, and I went to the village. He gave me Willie's card. He told me, go right back.
Okay.
Go right back.
So we're going to stop right here because I got to switch the tapes.
Postal card with 2 ways. One way back, he should just write the address and send the postcard was Peter already gone back. But he didn't do it, so I got a postcard. I didn't don't think I got the address. I went back to Samburg. And in Samburg, and then my relatives, my fourth or fifth cousin, he had a niece and a sister and a niece after Stalingrad. You know, you were there during the war. He says, please go there and make my niece, and my sister and my niece from there. His wife's sister, not his sister, but his wife's sister, like your sister's wife. So I took the train, and I was going about, let's say, at least 5-6 days a night to go to Stalingrad from Samburg. It was very long distance, you know. We both from Poland go to Stalingrad.
Yeah.
So,
and this whole time you're still a deserter, right? You're like, you don't have papers anymore.
No, I had the paper that I was released from the army. I still my papers. I still got it.
Okay.
So it took me maybe a week to go there, Stalingrad. I come to Stalingrad, I went there to cross the Volga. There was the other side of the Volga. And then there was another 50 kilometers inland. So I find somebody, Bogdan, so then finally I found his sister-in-law and daughter, Rena. I found him there, and another 2 Polish girls were there in that village. So I came there, I was there for about a week, and she read the papers, and I took him back home to Samba. And I'm going back with him in the train. I met Klarishka, and I met Klarishka's mother and Klarishka's sister Raya. So I am, you know, in the same car, and what I met how I did it, but she was playing the violin, and I love the violin very much. So I used to stay there maybe an hour or more and just listen how she played the violin.
She played it for who? For the...
She thought people were there.
For herself.
People were there, you know, soldiers were there, officers were there, you know, they were singing, and she was playing the violin. When she finished, she came out. I tell you, you play really beautiful. You really play nice. I like it. Thank you very much. You'll play again? She says, yes. So I come in now. You'll meet my mother and my sister, which I did. And we were there, and about 3 or 4 days. We were there on that train. Maybe more, maybe 5 days. I don't know. I don't remember anymore. So. She went to Odessa, and I went for a different train. After that, I went to Lemberg, the Wolf. So I gave her my address, and she gave me her address, and I was writing letters to each other. And then I decided to come to Odessa. So I came to Odessa. I was buying dollars, American money I was buying. I had a lot of rubles, I had a store.
You had a store in Samba.
I had a store in Samba, but I was selling vodka, cigarettes, and rose, and kielbasa. I was buying gold. From the Russia, I make money, so I went to Odessa, and in the morning, about 3 o'clock in the morning, the train came to Odessa, and there was the KGB. I had money with me. So I was ready to go and search me. So 3 o'clock in the morning I left the Odessa station and was walking on Peresip about 2 hours. But the trolley cars didn't start till about 5 o'clock. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. By 5 o'clock I was ready at Klarishka's house.
In the morning?
In the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. So when I got here, and I see a man with a small beard. So I said, tell me please, where here lives Jan Polski. He says, I am Polski. Who are you? I said, Misha. Oh, Misha, you riding to it? I said, yes. So he took me inside, and I took out the money from my sack bag. I put that money like this high, and I put my rubles in the top, so I made money. He saw the rubles on the table. He got scared to death. He really got scared because you took it to jail, but that's Siberia.
It seems like you're a criminal. You got all this money.
Anyway, in Klarishka was sleeping with Raya in one bed together, and my mother sleeping in a different bed. So it was quiet. They were cop, and so I hid the money away. I brought with me food from a steer. I brought kielbasa with me. I bought a lot of stuff. I bought Klaashka a coat. I bought Klaashka's father a watch, up in Sap, with the door like a watch. And the mother, I bought earrings. Klaashka's mother, I bought presents.
So you impressed them?
Yeah, but I had money. And then I went to the bazaar, on the black market. I bought white bread, I bought stuff. I had money, so the boys we had about. Then we went to Moldavanka. Moldavanka is like, say, New York. You have suburbs, like they say, the ranks. There were a lot of Jews living there. They had dollars. So from there I went with my future father-in-law, with Yoba, I call him Yoba. We went there and we were buying from the Russian Jews, we were buying dollars. I bought for each dollar I pay 100 rubles. 100 rubles. So I bought pictures of hundreds and fifties. I don't know they were good or not, I didn't know. I have no idea. See, they were counterfeit or they were good. I didn't know. So I figured out, I took a chance, I bought it. Then the last thing he says to me, wait a minute, I have $200 more. Would you buy it? I said yes, I still have rubles. He gave me $102 bills, but the long ones. You ever see them anymore? The long $2 bills? They're no more in existence. But he gave me. So this, I put it around my feet. Around my feet, with band-aid, but bend them out, here and here and here, all around we have $100. So, and then a few days later...
So you had hundreds of dollars.
Hundreds of dollars. Hundreds of dollars.
That you got.
And it was against the law. You catch you with that much, you finish.
Yeah.
You finish.
Yeah.
So I'm going home. Back to Lvov. In Lvov, in Lemberg, I was selling the dollars. Each dollar I sold for 250 rubles.
Oh,
so I make 150 rubles on these dollars.
Okay.
So I put the whole packed up with the dollars, and I had rucksack, with bread, and I went to the rail station, and that's about the train starts in Odessa. And then I got myself out, there were 3 lines, sitting, sleeping, and sleeping cars. 2 rows for sleeping, and Baden was sitting. I got my place lie down on the top. I put my bags in the back, and I lie down, and I'm going back to Lemberg. But Lemberg I still me down. For Lemberg, it's another 60 kilometers to Sambo. An hour and a half or 2 hours later, the KGB comes in. Papers. Everybody got papers. So, show my papers. He says, not enough. You need another paper you need. I said, what kind? I said, I don't know. That's what I got. That's what I give it to you, and I have any more. Come with me. They took me down from my district. They took me back to the last car. The last car, half a car was sealed up just for people with funny documents or without documents, or they were selling illegal products, they were smuggling, all kinds of things.
But you had you had good papers.
But I missed one. Which one, I don't remember. One thing I missed. Some kind they say, no, you don't know the paper. I said, I haven't got. Took me there. I said there are 12 guys, and I was the 13th. 13 guys. One they were smuggling, they were taking tobacco, they were taking newspapers, they were taking all kind of stuff, buying and selling. And I only have the document with me,
This was on the train.
On the train. So I spoke to him normally, like I speak to you, I haven't got it. They come in, and I was thinking, what shall I do? If they catch me with the dollars, I'm doomed. They take me to Siberia immediately. Without any question, I get 20 years, 10 to 20 years immediately. Then I'm finished. What shall I do? I don't know what to do. I get hysterical, really. So in the station Kotovsk, this is between Odessa and Izhmarenka, is a big station, Kotovsk. So before Kotovsk came in the KGB, it says out, everybody out. They took us off in Kotovsk on a station, and they took us to the railroad in a room there. There's a different crew, a different KGB were there. Then I was lucky because they gave me over to the other KGBs. Yeah. So then I figured out I'm going to do something. I'm going to play that I'm crazy, I'm nuts, whatever. Then I can do because them I spoke normally. Yeah. So they went back to the car. They went all the way back to America, and I remained in Kotovsk. I came and stood in a bench in the front room, a big bench sitting all them. Then All the papers went in, the documents went in. My papers were the second from the top. They took in one guy, a young fellow, a Russian guy, a choppy guy, and the door was still open. I could see they were searching him. You see where the belt is here? Like this, took it out here. You see the lining from the pens, the lining from here, to open up the pens, put down the socks if you had, you know, and search him. When I saw this, they search him. They can search me. They find dollars. I'm finished. I'm finished 100%. How I gonna play dumb, crazy, something no like. When I went out, they open, I see they search it. I open the door. I come in, I do. But I make things beside to, you know, spit on him, you know. He pushes me back, and I don't want to go. I go back to him. I make a face. Yeah, he says something wrong with me. So he begged me, he took me by the way, he threw me out. I don't want to go out because my papers are there.
He was really upset at you.
With my papers, I cannot go anywhere. I'm doomed. So I go bend in right away. I go to sleep here. Look like that. He saw the man. He threw me out again, and I don't want to go. So he took my papers. He threw the papers out. They threw it out. So I got on the floor. I picked up the papers and I walked out. I walked out. The train was there once in 24 hours. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the next day. So I was sleeping on the railway station. I was sleeping. I had a Cuban hat, you know, with a caracol. I mean, those, you know, lamb, you know, curled lamb, you know, I had beautiful head. When I was sleeping, you know, my head went down, and then my head went down on the floor. Somebody stole it. I was really sorry for that. It was nice head. So they stole my head. But the next day, 4 o'clock, I went back to Limburg. In Limburg, I had a guy there, a friend of mine already. I went to his house. As a matter of fact, I met him on Orchard Street.
Orchard Street?
I met him on Villa Soldados. I met him and his son. I met him on Orchard Street.
Okay.
His wife is still there selling the imitation fur coats on Orchard Street. So I was there and I paid him the dollars. I sold it. And I just sold them. I had one $500 bill. One $500 bill.
$500
a single $500 bill I had. So I sold it to my friends, you know, there in Sambo. So then I make money, then I went again, you know, I bought again. Then
so you went back to Odessa again?
Yeah, I've been there. I got married in Odessa, yes. Then, before they go to Poland, I married Klarachka, January the 22nd.
So wait, so you went back and forth to Odessa a few times?
A couple of times, yeah.
And you took, and you always took rubles and you changed the dollars?
Yeah, not too much, but a little bit. So then I married Klarachka. The third time I came, I married Klarachka on January the 22nd, 1946.
In Odessa?
In Odessa. By the rabbi, in the rabbi's house. In the rabbi's house. And Saturday before that, I went to shul. One shul remained is on Pushkin Street. Pushkin Street. And then I had an aliyah. So my father was very impressed. I could make the Baruch and the Torah, you know. A young fellow in Russia, you see that, even the old people could make it all. So we had a nice wedding, we had a reception, I bought everything. I got money and I bought fish, and I bought white bread and vodka and whatever, you know. We made in the house. We made a table, the friends and Mishpucha came in, and a week later I took back Klarachka to Poland, back to Samba.
So what did the family think about that?
Well,
taking far away?
I don't know, I think they should be happy because I got money I had. And then from Samba I went already to Poland, I went already to, Pesach, in May, in the beginning of May. We went to Poland because they let you go to Poland. All Polish citizens.
At that time it was liberated.
Russia.
Right?
No, it was Russia. So, but I was born in Poland, not in Russia. So there came out a decree. So all the people who were born in Poland, they could go back to.
Now was the war over already?
The war was over already. Yes. Well, this already, the war was over in April, this was already in May.
So did you ever go back to Shulka?
I was once there, I told you, only
Yeah,
once.
that was the only one time.
Only
and
one
then
time.
you
My house was gone, my house is not there anymore.
It's not there anymore.
No, they took it apart.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the guy, the name was Kalka, the Ukrainian guy, he took apart my house. One of the 2x4, it was a big piece, they had
The ceiling. In the center of the...
center, they have a big, heavy piece of lumber, it fell off his head. It killed him right in our apartment, right in my house. He was killed. And I went back to Sambo.
So then you went to Poland.
Went to Poland. We were in Poland in Gleiwitz, in Liegnitz. We had a store in Liegnitz. And
What were you selling in the store? Same kinds of things?
Groceries, mostly groceries.
So how do you start a store? From nothing?
So they had
money
the
and
Germans
stuff.
left. This was a former German territory. So I came in, but I was in the Russian army. I had some privileges. I took over a store, and I took a partner with me from Stare Samba right to school. His name was Walzer. I took with him, stayed up in a store for 3 months, and then the Polacks started to kill the Jews again in Poland. So I told myself, son, I have to go away. So I left the store. Everything was there. I left my apartment, took with the keys, took Klareczka, that's well suitcase, and we went to Nachod. Nachod was on the Polish-German border, on the Polish-Czech border, Polish-Czechoslovakian border. Nachod was the last outpost on the Polish territory. Then I went with a group with religious Hasidic Jews. They went to a shack which was really not as big, but too many people there. I have no room there, But I bought a gun from a Russian officer with 100 bullets. In case of the happen to killing Jews, I had to do something. I wanted to defend myself. I was the Russian army. I was not my yeshiva bocher. Now I was already experienced. I know already how to defend myself. When I came there was no room to stay. To lay down. I lay down sick. I couldn't. So I took out the gun from my back pocket and started to load it down with the bullets. When they saw the gun with the bullet, they got scared. They ran away to me, and I helped them to lie down. I slept there, and a few days later, the brigade, the brigade is, Israelis, young people from Israel came, and they were taking Jews out from Poland to Israel to fight against the Arabs. The brigade came, and they smuggled us from the Poland to Germany, to the Nachod Hof. The last outpost from Poland was Nachod, and the first, Nachod, to Czechoslovakia, the name. So we went over the border. Before we went to the border, the brigade came in and says, whoever has medals, whoever has guns or bullets, please leave it right here. Because if they catch you with a bullet, they catch you with medals, you're going to have trouble for everybody here. It's a few thousand people. It will make trouble for everybody. So I figured out, I took out my gun and the bullets, and I gave it away to the brigade, and I have a few medals I had, so I threw it away. So I went out in cattle cars, and we were going to Czechoslovakia, to Bratislava, to Slovakia, to Bratislava, to the German border. The German border was really Hof. The name was Hof on the German, on the Czech-German border. Went to Hof, and Hof was a big camp for refugees. So I am in the class, I was pregnant 3 months. And I was already there in the camp for about 3 months. From there, I was looking to find my friends from Sambo who were home. I didn't know anybody in that thing. I went to Bad Reichenau. In Bad Reichenau, I met a lot of friends of mine, from Sambo. The Weisbarts and all that thing, they're still here. I'm in contact with them, very much so, now. And I went to Bad Reichenau, and I could not get going to the camp. They won't let me into the camp to live there. So I brought gold rubles with me. Tsar's money, gold rubles, quite a bit. So I paid 20 gold rubles, and they put me in the list, and I put me in, gave me a room, and I went back to Hof. I bought Klareczka. I brought up Bad Reichenau. We were there for 3 years. From Bad Reichenau we went. And was born by Reichenau.
So tell me a little bit about Bad Reichenhall. 3 years
It's
is
a
a long
camp.
time
I was
ago.
working
What was
in the police station. I was policeman. I was policeman in the camp.
policeman in the
And
camp?
Klaska was singing. It was a group, artists. And she was singing Bad Reichenhall. Every week she had a different concert.
And you were actually paid for being a policeman? Or
I got
is this-
paid, yeah, I got rations, just rations.
Rations,
I got the
and
rations,
flour
extra
also.
ration, that's all.
And how did people live there?
They were going to the villages and for the Germans and buy stuff and sell, buy and sell. It's to go to different cities, buy cigarettes, it's buy coffee, and selling, buying, they did business.
And this was only Jews? in the whole
Only
camp?
Jews,
Only Jews.
about 5,000 Jews about Reichenhall. About 5,000 Jews. Then before there was an army camp, for the army barracks,
Yeah.
German armies, and now we were there, so we had about 5,000 people in Reichenhall over the 3 years.
And there was a whole structure there, like schools and...
Not got schools, not got
So
schools.
there was no kids,
No
really?
kids were born, they were 1 or 2 years old.
Yeah, but
That's
there
all.
were no
That's all.
children, yeah.
That's all. 1 or 2 years old. No schools already.
And there was synagogues there?
There was
and,
synagogue, yes. There was a synagogue, yes.
Community centers or something?
No, just a synagogue.
Just a synagogue.
In a kitchen. If
In
you
a
want to, you can go and take 2 meals a day from the kitchen, which wasn't good at all.
It was
You could
free,
eat
I mean,
it.
they gave it to you, it was
Sure,
supported.
but what you get the rations. I say a kilo meat every 2 weeks. So something else. So I didn't go to the kitchen. I took the meat, whatever they gave me, the rations, and I cooked home.
So you had like a apartment?
One
or
room.
Like one room?
One room.
in-
We had
in
got a electric stove. I bought one. We were cook on that electric there. Wherever you could.
And what were people doing there? They were just waiting for...
Sitting there and waiting to gas. Some people went to Israel. Most of them went to the United States. Some went to Argentina, some to Brazil, some to Canada, some to Australia.
And who makes the decision where they go?
Well, the
where they
my
wanted to
decision,
go?
because for instance, if you had an uncle in Argentina, you call him, write him a letter, and he was good enough to send you papers, he went to Argentina, I went to Canada.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to go to the United States. I want to go to Israel only to Israel I wanted to go. So Billy sent me letters every 2 weeks a letter. In every letter he sent me $3 single. In every letter I had $3 single. So he's very
generous,
nice to us, he's
yeah.
very good to us. So and then when I went to examination, I want to go to Israel, to Palestine, so they told me I cannot go. I said, why? Because you have TB. They sent me to Gauting. Gauting was a city where they have one at the hospital, like she was with a hospital around, big structures. And there was old people with TB went over there, and then they were sitting there and supposed to get cured. When I came there, they told me I have to come here, I have to stay in Gauting, and I cannot go home because you have TB. And I said, oh no, I'm not staying here. I'm not staying in Gauting. I have a wife and my Reichenhall with a child. I've been back. And that's it. They didn't force me to stay in Gauting. They didn't force me, so I've been back with TB. And then I wrote a letter to Uncle Billy. I said, Billy, please send me papers. I go to the United States. I can't go to Israel. So Bill sent me papers. And I went to Munich. I registered myself. And they told to call me up a couple of months later to come out and to take an examination, take pictures, X-rays. I took X-rays. They took small X-rays. And the small X-ray didn't see the cavity in my lung. So they let me go. As a matter of fact, when I went to the CIA, called me 3 times for interviews because I told them I was in the Russian army. So they thought I'm a communist. They were already the arts, the Russian, the Americans were art, they're already enemies, Berlin anyway. So they thought I'm a communist. So the chief of the interrogation, it was a Polish girl. I told him Polish. She explained to him in English. So he told me, come in the lounge, tell me the story from the beginning. Come back a month later, tell me the story from the end. Come 2 months later, tell me the story from the middle. So you see, it should not contradict, because
Really?
if you tell a lie, so you must trip somewhere. It's impossible. You're not going to lie. You cannot remember.
So,
The truth you cannot remember.
so he interviewed you every 2 months?
Three times I was interviewed by him. 3 times. He told me that I tell the truth. You know, and everything clicks.
Of course, you told him the whole story.
So from the beginning, from the end, whatever happened to me. He's so impressed. So he wrote a letter. He wrote a letter. He says to me, take this letter to a Mr. Levine. He's on Medicine Avenue, 45th Street. He's a writer. He'll write a book of your life, Mr. Levine. When I came to New York, so I didn't go right away. I got maybe a year later. I went to 45th Street. I was asking the address. Said Mr. Levine moved to New Jersey. So I never been again.
New Jersey's the other side of the world.
No, it's not only that, but I was afraid I might harm Klarashka's parents. They live still in Odessa. Somehow being connected with it, they might get in trouble there. So I just.
So what? Some of your experiences in the DP camp. What before you?
It was depressing. I was just waiting. I was just waiting and waiting and waiting, sitting and waiting. You know, sitting living in one room. In one single room, you know, and it was depressing. It was depressing, waiting to go, because I didn't want to stay in Germany. I did not want to stay in Germany, but I had no choice. I had to stay till. So finally, I went from they liquidate in 1949. In the beginning, they liquidate Bad Reichenau, and they sent me and Klarashka with Hanale to Wasserburg. This was a church where the nuns lived there. You know, the nuns?
Yeah.
The nuns of there, a cluster of nuns with all, you know. In that structure, we stood there, in that church. We stood there.
Hold it right there, because I have to switch the tapes again. What did the family do? They were living normally?
No, they were public assistants. She had to be, it's not a choice.
Kids went to school already, or was it?
No, not yet. I don't think so. I went 2.5 years old. I went 4.5. I don't think so. A year later, I think she went. June, when I was in the hospital and started school. I think. She was 6 years old. I don't think so. They were still babies. So. And I went in, I saw this sewing machine business, I figured out, maybe it is.
So you're walking in, how did you get into the sewing machine?
I was walking in the streets, I see sewing machines, you know.
25th Street is the sewing machine area.
Yeah, on the 6th Avenue. So I figured out, I went from store to store, I said, please, can you teach me a trade? Can you teach me a trade? Can you teach me a trade?
Did you already knew some English then?
Sure, yes. They said, no, nobody wanted me. I went to one store, his name was Lou Greenbaum. He was many years in Argentina. So I came in and I asked him, he says, okay, take me in. So I worked there for 3.5 months without a penny.
No, whatever you said.
Without a single penny, 3.5 months. So what I did, I washed the machine so much with kerosene. I washed them with kerosene, washed the parts. I deliver machines on a dolly, you know, a block, 2 blocks away, you know, on a dolly. I took a machine with a stand, delivered them back. You know, this is what I did. And he didn't want to teach me. He didn't want to teach me how to use machines. There was a colored guy, Johnny. He was a table man. He used to make tables and fix play machines. So he used to teach me a little bit, you know, machine, how to motor, how to put a motor, how this one. After 3.5 months, he gave me $5 a week. After 3.5 months, $5 a week. Then after another few months, he gave me $10 a week. I was already 6 months, and maybe I had $15 a week. So and then he didn't want to teach me. He never taught me anything. So Johnny taught me how to fix a play machine, a 95, you know, playing solo. He taught me how to build a table for the machine, how to put a motor, how to wind the motor, how to wind the switch, you know, the whole thing. So I learned a little bit. After I was there about a year and a half, after a year and a half, he gave me already $35. And I come in and I ask people, the dealers, I said, please, can you find a job for me? Can you find a job for me? I have a wife, I have maybe 3 kids, you know, I need to make a living over here, $35 a week. So one day a guy comes in, his name was Lachman. He came in, he's Pachman. So can you Mark, I have a job for you. I said, yes. So where is it? In the East Bronx. on Prospect Avenue, 771 Prospect Avenue. They were Spanish people, not Puerto Ricans, but Spanish people. There were 3 brothers, 1, 2, 3 brothers, 4 brothers. They had a shop. They were contracting blouses. No blouses, women. I come in there on Saturday, and cold out. They said, all right, come up. I come in. The owner was not there. So I took a big shop with 100 machines. The machines, I just saw it. I know how to fix it. Not at all. Only 100 play machines. I didn't know the bottom machine, the butt machine, the special machine, the machines.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that all. I saw them,
machines.
but I fixed it. So I look around, and I took off. I went back home. Because I'm not good. I can't fix the machines. Why should I get a job? And I lose this job and I have this job. I have nothing. So I come home. I said, Klarachka, you know what? I saw so many machines there which I really don't know. I just went back because I don't want to waste my time and his time. Klarachka says to me, I know Misha, call him out again. Just call him out. Say hello and tell him you were there. And you were there because he wait for you and come. It's not nice. So tell him you were there, you saw the machines. And you say you cannot fix those machines, so you went away. Call him out. His name was Richard. He says to me, I told you the truth. He says to me, you know what, I want to see you again. You told the truth, I want to see you again. Come on. I went again. He says to me, shows him, come on, shows me the machine. Says, see, you see, Mark, this machines I have a mechanic. But this special machine I have another mechanic. I want you only for the play machines. All right. So how much you get in a week? Yeah, I was getting $25. I told him 60. You know, I wouldn't say 35, I said $60. He says, I'll give you 65. I said, okay. No, I could buy, $600. I can buy them per state buildings.
You doubled your salary.
Double my salary. When I came back to my, to Lou Greenbaum, Monday, I told him, Mr. Greenbaum, I want a raise. He says, can I give it to you? He said, no, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I have to make my money. I have a wife, I have 3 kids. I have to make a living. I can make it $35. And pay the rent, $44 is rent. And how can I do it? I just can't do it. I can't. He said, you know what? I said, Mr. Grimmer, I'm going to go try out a job. If it doesn't work out, can I come back? He said, see, Mark, if you open the door and you close it, you can open again. Shows me the door, you can open again. So the Schwarzer, Johnny, pitched me, said, go. So I said, I'm going. I left. I went there, and when I came the first time, I saw the play machines, yes, but they had a new play machine, the 600W1. And the 600W1 was threaded different way, a different threading system. I look at the machine. It's a play machine, but I know how to thread it. And the girl will come fix the machine. I wouldn't know what to do. So I stood behind the girl, and I was waiting. And the thread broke. So I saw how she thread the machine, which way. So I knew how to thread it. Well, I'm already a genius, So this is why I'm already there for the play machines for about, I think, a couple of years. Not even a couple of years, a year or something like that. And after that, the guy was on the special machines. He left. So Richie said to me, Mark, you became a mechanic for the special machines. I said, I don't know. Don't worry. He called the guy from the Union Special. He called the guy from the sinker machines, for the specials. And they showed me how to do it. Something, just the basics. And then I learned the work and gips. I learned the sinker overlocks. I learned the double needle, the special double needle machines. I learned everything, It was hard for me in the beginning. If I needed something, sometimes I called up a guy to help me out. Seldom, but he did. And I learned already this. This I knew already. I was already a mechanic on special machines. After 4 years, 2 more years, the guy from the bottom machines, the bottom hole machines, he left. Also a Spanish guy. And this was very tricky machines. It's a very, it's very complicated. So I learned a little bit there too. Not everything, but once. Already I was a mechanic for the whole shop. After 4 years.
So you were making 4 times more.
I was making already $120, $120 a week.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and then suddenly the guy went out of business. Got broke. So he sold the factory, and I didn't know what to do. So I had a guy, a sewing machine, salesman for the Segal company. Bruno is a very nice guy, Italian guy, but very nice guy. So when I came in, I said, well, no, I haven't got a job. I lost the job. What shall I do? Don't worry, I have a job for you. Go to Federation to Los Angeles, Alta workshops. That was in the Bronx, also in the Bronx, a few stations away, on Jennings Street, in the Bronx on Jennings Street. Jennings in West Farms Road. So I went there, and they told me, I said, "You do not send me." He said, "You know, mechanic." I said, "Yes, I will." I mean, he's working, everything. He says, "Okay." He said, "But," say, "Do you have a mechanic here?" They say, "Yes." I said, "If you have a mechanic here, I'm not taking the job. I won't take somebody's job. I won't take somebody's job. This guy may need a job, just as I do. I won't like somebody to take my job, so I won't take his job." I said, "Listen something. This guy is not good. If you take the job, you don't take the job, you're going to fire him. Because he's not good. He can fix machines." So I figured out, this is, yes, so then so how much you want? So yeah, I want $145 a week. We can do it, we can do it. Finally, decided on under 35. So I got a job there, in auto workshop. Also, the people there was also under rehabilitation. They have from they have TB, they have cancer, they have TB, they have mentally cases, young people, middle age. They were training and teaching for new jobs. So there I became a mechanic. I was working there for 10 years. From there I left, I went to 25th Street. I got a job on 25th Street. I worked there for about a few years when Razi got married. With you in 1973. Yeah. In 1973. So I figured out now it is time to go for myself. So I got married to all my kids. Now Praska said, "You can go. If you want to go for yourself, try." So I went in for myself. Not exactly myself, but I went into a store which an old man was there, Chelsea Sewing Machine Company. Al Liederman was there. He was an older man. He didn't see that very well either. You only can fix plain machines. But the guy told me, "Mark, go in with him. You see, you're going to make it. You're going to make it. Go in. First step, go in." So he's telling me I should give him, take it out from the bank, $5,000. Give him $2,500 in his pocket, and $2,500 I put in the books, checking account. So actually I put in $3,750. And I had in the bank only $11,000. So I'm talking to Clark, "What to do?" Clark says, Misha, go, you make it, go." This was my lucky day. I went in there, and right away I started to buy, I started to sell, I started to fix, I started to make money.
What was your first experience when you had to buy a machine?
The first experience is, I went and the guy had a store on 25th Street corner of Broadway. Yeah, his name is still in business. Different location, Berkowitz. I come here and I see 2 German machines, Mausers. And one guy, we worked for Harry, also I worked for Harry, and he was a partner with Harry. Then he split up, he went for himself. He had a factory on Broadway and 30th Street. So he asked me, "You see a Mauser sometimes, a Mauser?" Let me know. This was the first or the second day when I went into business with Al Liederman. I go by the store, and just, I don't know what the reason, I see the 2 Mausers on the window, 2 Mausers. I came in, I say, "How much you want it?" They say $500 or $600. I said to them, "You know what, I give you $400 a piece." Finally I agreed. So I went to George, I said, "George, I have 2 Mausers. Bring it in." "How much?" I said, they say they want $800 a piece. "Bring it in, bring it in." So I took a shopping cart, went in, I took the machine, I said, "What's in I'm Chelsea Sewing Machine Company, I'll give you the check later." It's okay. Or cash, whatever. It's okay. I took the 2 machines, I put them in about $5 away to George. And George gave me right away $1,600, and he gave me $200 tip. So machine cost me $800, and I made $1,800. I made $1,000.
See, the first couple of days
with a shopping cart, and I was jumping up and down, up and down, up and down, jumping, screaming. I couldn't wait. I made 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks to make this money. I made it in 1 hour.
Yeah.
Good to be a dealer. Don't be a schlepper, a sewing machine mechanic. Be a sewing machine dealer. So I said, "It's good." So I started to make money, and then I started to go on auction sales. The money came in only on auction sales. I came into an auction sale, the first auction sale I came in, so they won't sell it to me. Then I went, I took 2 guys, another Segal with me. He was a dealer, he had my store. Then I took a guy, a dealer's son. I said, we went to, the first auction sale was in Troy, New York. So you had to have a certified check. I went to the bank, I took out a certified check of $4,000 certified check. The old tree, when Steve and Melka's car, he went to Troy. Came into Troy, and I have a check for $4,000. I have my business card. I came to the auctioneer. I say, I'm Schultz Sewing Machine Company, and I have a check, a certified check for $4,000. Can I buy? He said, sure. Yes, you're legitimate. But you can buy only till $20,000, up to $20,000. So I gave him the check, and we started to bid. So the old dealers, my friends of mine, not friends of mine, but I know them. And I know everybody. Come in and start to bid. So I say, yeah, you can buy one machine, what in sequence. You can buy, say, 20 machines. You can buy the first machine, the third, the seventh, or the eighth, only in sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can buy all 20, or you can buy 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, whatever you want. You follow me? So that's right. So I come in with the machine was going to say in New York $100, $110. They start 20. So I say 30. They start 40. I say 50. I went to $80. They pay 90. I say let it go. Because it took the money to come back. The profit is not that big. And the second machine, the same thing. So they start to scream, hey, wait. They cannot buy. For me, in Steve, they cannot buy. He says, why? They're auctioneer. They're not dealers. What do you mean they're not dealers? Do you know them? So here's Chelsea. You know Chelsea Sewing Machine Company? He says, yes. Do you know Mark Segal? He says, yes. He's a certified check, $4,000. He can buy up to $20,000. So when they saw, they buy another machine, special machines, overlocks, single overlocks. The machine was worth, say, $350. They start 50. I said 60. I went to $250. So they saw they cannot buy because I won't let them buy. I know for $350, I pay $275. I still can make a profit. Even to bring you from Troy, New York with a truck, he will pay me. But I want to go into the click. I want to go into the click. Without that, I get the money. So they come in. One of the dealers came in, put me a push. He said, well, shh. I'm in the circle. Don't bid. Okay. That's what I wanted. Since that time, I went on auction sales all over the Eastern Seaboard. From New York to Texas to Mississippi to Rhode Island, whatever I know, all the to Florida, whatever, Texas, whatever. All this, wherever of an auction sale, I took with my friends. I took a car, we took a plane, whatever. I used to go for every week 1-2 auctions, And the auction sale, I get money. I came home every week, cash, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a week, clear profit. But I split with my partner. Then my partner got sick, and he died. So she was working for me. So she sold me her part. I gave her for her half. I gave her $18,000 cash. Cash. I gave her $18,000 cash. And she worked for me for about a year or so. She worked for me a half a day. And I still was going on auction sales. And then I took in Roma for a partner. I still was going on auction sales. So then Roman left, I took in Boris, and Boris didn't do too well. So now the store was closed. No more Chelsea Sewing Machine.
So, what do you remember from when the children were growing up? You had 3 girls. Now,
So
that's
was
unusual
born in
to have 3.
1951. I was born in 1953. And one thing, episode I remember, Raz was about 5 years old. About 5, maybe 6 years old. So she got angry at me. Got angry at me. Said to me, I'm going away and I'm never going to come back. Never going to come back. Emphasize, never come back. She put on a coat, she put on shoes, everything put on. And then I did the same thing. She goes to the door, to the hallway, small, not a hallway, all the way to the door. I don't say anything. So she stays in the door about 2-3 minutes. Turning back, come in and says, Daddy, I have got where to go. I haven't got where to go. But she was a baby, there's her teeth. Can get loose, the front teeth get loose. Baby teeth, look at it. So shaking. I say, yeah, take it out. He says, you know what? The best thing to do, I'll tell you what to do. You do it. I'll take a string. I'll tie this thing here to here, right? And the door will be open, and I tie the other end to the handle of the door, right? You stay still, and I will slam the door, and the thing will pull out the door. It'll have finished. That's it. No pain, no nothing. If we do, I pull out all your teeth that way. So then she's scared. Then she,
I thought you were going to put some solder from the pot in it too.
no, that's different.
Like in the- like in
it
the-
was home, but
No,
now
I'm
it's
just kidding
boy.
with you.
This was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you were working like this, what was Clara doing? She was singing a little bit. And
No,
she was
Clara
home.
was singing in the beginning, yes. But later on, with 3 children, I want Clara, we agreed that she's going to stay home and take care of the children. But the children was the most precious thing to me, and I want my children to grow up. I said, say, when my neighbors started to go drugs to fill it up, I went to the drugstore to buy some drugs. I came in on the corner, 8th Avenue and 25th Street. This is my druggist, spoke Yiddish. I went to him to buy some drugs. And I see a boy comes in, and he asked him for a needle. A needle. He did, sold him for $1, sold him a needle. He went into around the hallway, you put him something there, and he started sticking needles.
In your building.
Not a building, but building at and where the druggist was living, on 8th Avenue and 25th Street,
Okay.
in the hallway.
Yeah.
When I saw this, I said, it's time to move. I want my children to live anymore in this neighborhood. So I bought a co-op,
Fairview.
45 Fairview Avenue, but this was, I only paid in 10%. Only paid in 10%. It's subsidized by the state. So I paid them, I think, about $3,500, and I bought a car then.
Yeah. But you used to go to mountains, you said before?
Well,
You went to the mountains and
only
Clara
one
was
Klaasje
singing?
was singing. One year Klaasje has some friends. And my friends said, would like to go to the country, to a hotel and sing for the summer. But matter of fact, she went to one concert and there was a woman, the owner's woman, who had the Lorraine Hotel. She heard Klaasje singing. He says, maybe you come up singing to me in the mountains. The Klaasje agreed. So how will they say, what? You can stay there for the whole summer with the children, free. We don't pay you, you don't pay us. But if I come there, I pay $5 a day. I used to come there Friday evening and come back Sunday afternoon. So I stayed there, not almost every week. So to sleep there, and I pay $10.
So Clara entertained?
Clara entertained with the children together.
The children entertained
Theo,
too?
Razi, Susie, and Anne, all was on the stage with Klaartje.
Yeah?
Yes.
But Anne was the only one with talent.
And no, she did sing with them, they two, there's all three of them for singing the stage.
So it was a big hit.
This was in the Lorraine Hotel in exit 96 on 17, exit 96.
So they did that for a whole summer.
Yeah, but one summer, yes, one summer she was there.
That's very nice.
Yeah, they had all summer, they did all summer there. They were there.
And when did you start to go to Rockaway?
In Rockaway, the first trip I made was in the 60s. Yeah, in the early 60s. Matter of fact, we had a room that was 3 steps down, a half a basement. It was cheap, so I took a half a basement. So we were there for about, I don't know, a few years, quite a few years there.
In the same place every summer?
No, not every base, we moved from one place to the other, 2 years, we had 2 years there, then already on the ground floor room, then to a room on the second floor. So we were there quite a few years.
So what did you do with the kids when they were little, on like the weekends?
Right, so mostly we go to Central Park.
Central Park?
I used to walk. Central
From
Park.
21st Street all the way up to Central Park?
Right, see, and they have the money in the beginning, I have the money in the beginning. So the bus was 7 cents, so it was 14 cents. And the kids were in the 14 cent bag, 30 cents. But the 30 cents I bought a Frankfurter was 15 cents. So I bought the kids 2 Frankfurters for that money. The 30 cents I bought them 2 Frankfurters, and the Frankfurter plans. So and I walked there and I walked back. From Central Park, I went back. I took a boat sometimes, the kids in Central Park, along with a boat. And she in Glasgow after work. The other day she went to Medicine Park, on 23rd Street. And 50th Avenue is a park called Medicine Park.
Yeah.
Susie used to call Medicine Park. Susie used to say Medicine. So I used to go to Medicine Park, there was a fountain, there was benches, so she was spending the day there in the park. So Saturday, Sunday we used to go someplace where we could.
Were you happy to be there?
First time we moved to Rockaway, a cab was $8. Go to Rockaway from the first was $8. I didn't have the $8. I go to Rockaway. I took the kids, I took shopping carts, Had to load everything in shopping carts, pots and pans or whatever you can, shopping carts, and you went by train.
Yeah.
So one guy stays there and he says to Klaashka, you're going with the subway to Laundromat? You know?
Laundromat.
Laundromat.
Yeah.
So we moved by subway to Rakowicz. We moved by subway to Rakowicz.
Yeah.
Didn't have the 8 hours
Yeah.
to pay for the cab.
And then every night you went to Rockaway?
I went, took me 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours to come back.
Every night?
Every day it took me 4 hours to train.
Yeah.
I went to East Bronx. I was working with the Spanish people.
Oh, it's a long
so
way.
Prospect Avenue.
That's a very long way.
Very long ride.
Yeah.
So 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon. But I went, I want to see the kids,
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
So every day I came after dinner, I finished dinner. So we went to the boardwalk. I took my chair, I lied on the boardwalk, and it was stores where the kids were running around on the boardwalk, going store to store. One Susie wanted, remember a TV, she wanted a TV, Susie, a sharp TV, a TV, a small TV. So playing there something games. She bought it, she bought home a TV, Susie. A small TV she bought. She won.
She wanted it on the boardwalk game.
On the boardwalk.
You won 36th Street, right?
I was at 36, I was 71st Street, 72nd Street, 32nd Street, 36th Street. Yeah, few times we moved. Yeah, it was beautiful there. It was very nice. I was on the beach all the time. It was wonderful. Playing, I used to make little tunnels. I come Saturday or Sunday, I used to have my shovel. Remember, I make tunnels, on the beach. Deep, 5, 6 feet. Deep. And I make steps to go
5,
down.
6
You go
feet
underneath,
deep
make a tunnel.
with a shovel?
I made a shovel, and then steps to go out. Children all around, I envy them, how high they're going in, they're going out, they're going in, they're going out. So they want to go too, so I let them do that. So they had fun. They had fun there, Food I had, I didn't say whether I have every day bagels and logs, but Klaashka cooked. She cooked very good, and I wasn't rich, but I could afford to buy food for them.
Were you still seeing Willie at the time? Or
Oh,
you
not
lost
in summertime.
contact?
In summertime, I didn't see him.
No, but during that time.
Yeah, we used to come up to Willie for Saturday or Sunday for dinner. I used to go to the sometimes, yeah.
And the other relatives also?
Oh, the Rose, he went seldom to Rose. The Rose really go to Brooklyn, not too often. Not too often. How much time you got there?
Yeah, so don't worry.
No, Razi was to see my
don't worry about
grandfathers.
Yeah, don't worry about it. What about the fact that you had 3 kids? Were you looking to have more kids, or you decided to stop?
I wanted to have kids, but and Rose was the one saying, "What are so many kids? What are you going to do? We don't have so many kids. What are the kids? We have 1 kid or 2 no more. In America, you have no many kids. Don't have kids." So.
This is not the shtetl. You don't have a dozen kids here. That's what they told you.
I wanted 5, 6 at least. I wanted it. Yeah. Children is a blessing.
So they talked you out of it.
Children like that. What's wrong with that? Look, I have 3 more. What is
This thing. So again, so you had the 3 daughters, and you wanted more, and of course you couldn't do it anymore. So, but you didn't have any sons. Isn't that didn't that ever bother you?
No.
Just
no,
3 daughters are fine.
Girls, I'm not.
You in a house with 4 women.
It's okay. I love them. I'm glad I got them. They're nice kids, and I have pleasure out of them. And that's it. Go out, they're nice. They're not drug addicts, they're not they're just wonderful kids. All 3 of them. Nice grandchildren. I'm glad for that.
But we're going to pause here so we can take a look at the family tree. Hold on 1 minute. And we're going to have Mark talk about the various people here. So
we'll start with Mordechai Yamna. Mordechai Yamna in Rose was my grandfather's parents, the parents of Shmuel Yamna. And Shmuel Yamna, my grandfather, married Feike Glick.
Do you remember them at all?
I don't remember my grandfather Shmuel died in 1932. And Feige, she was still alive. When I left Russia, she was still alive. She was an old woman, but the Germans killed her. So they had, I think 9 children they had. They had 1, 2, 3, 4 daughters, I think, and here, the daughter My mother was Mordechai was the oldest, Shmuel's son, and my mother was the second. You have 9 children. The youngest was Yaakov. Yaakov Yam, he died last year. Year and a half ago.
So,
And only survived.
so point where you are.
Only survived was where is he? Yeah, there is Yaakov Yamna, you know? Yaakov Yamna. Yaakov remained, was alive, he died last year, a year and a half ago. They were here. William died in 1987. And Rose died about 4 or 5 years ago. Eli Sumner, he died
This
in
is Uncle
1987. Uncle Willie, 1987. And Rose died a few years before. She was over 90 years old. So now nobody's alive. Everybody died.
All the sons and daughters
Died.
of Shmuel Yamna,
Yeah. It's the grandchildren remaining.
the grandchildren remain.
Great-great-grandchildren remained.
Do you remember anything other than Uncle Willie and Rose, any of the other uncles?
I know one thing, Mordechai, Yamna, and Rose, they lived in a village called Star Asul. I mean, Star Asul in Yiddish, I mean Altzalz, Old Salt. From there they come. They married he married Feiga, she comes from Luzhegurne, one town before Shilke, and they settled in Shilke. Shmuel Yamna and Feiga settled in Shilke.
Oh, that's how it began.
He was fairly rich. I mean, a lot of land, a lot of forest he had. He was in that in now village. He was very rich. He called a rich man, a rich farmer. Horses and cows and land he had. So a son and a daughter moved away to Germany. They stayed there and they died over there in Germany. And 3 went to the United States, and Yaakov went to Israel. And the rest remained in Poland. They all died.
So now we get to where are you on the chart here?
Now Mordechai. Wait a minute. Okay, my oldest, but my father married the first time. He had a son in 1912. In 1912 was born. His name was Herman.
He's not on this chart.
He's not here. No.
Yeah.
So
I
only met him once in my life. So he never came to Shulki anyway. So then my father married my mother in sometimes in 1913 or 1912. I don't know, something like that. Just a year before the war. Before the war was. So Zalma was born in 1915. Tulsa was born in 1917, when she died, when she was a baby. My sister Esther was born in 1918. My sister Heidi was born in 1920. I was born in 1922. And my brother, the youngest was born in 1925. So this I know.
And Lazi is named after?
Rosalind Segal, Rose is made for Rose Frankel's mother, I don't know, something like that. Rose Frankel has to be there.
And Esther is the name of your sister?
And Esther is my sister, yes.
And Anne, what is she named after?
For my mother, Hannah.
Hannah.
My mother, Hannah.
And Susie?
Susie married for Clara's aunt. Clara's mother's sister.
Clara's mother's sister.
Yeah, she died. She went out from Russia in 1970.
Yeah.
She went to Italy. She was alone. She never married, and she died in Italy.
Yeah.
She never came to the United States.
And Sora Liba?
Sura Liebe. Yeah, Liebe. You know, Clara's aunt.
No, Clara's aunt was Lisa. Mommy's aunt
Yes,
was
Lisa was named?
Elisa was named after
Elisa,
her.
that's correct. Elisa, that's
Sora Liba, I
correct.
thought was named
Yeah, correct.
for Aunt
You're
Leah's
right.
somebody?
Who?
Aunt
Leah, yes. Ruchel Esther. Roslyn is Ruchel.
That's
Her
me.
mother's name, Leah's mother was Ruchel. The first name you of Antlia's mother, and the second name Esther you will get to my sister.
Okay, but Surah Liba was who?
Also to Surah Libe was Clara's cousin, relatives, I don't know. Something.
So what do you, who is still around at this point from this entire family? Can you point it out?
No, only the grandchildren.
Where's Shula?
Yeah, so Mira Yamna, Mira Deitcher. Where is she
Her maiden name was Yamna.
She's alive.
Yeah.
Her husband Yaakov died in Israel. And they were not
these
here.
are all the grandchildren.
All the grandchildren.
All the grandchildren.
Yeah, and also alive was
Actually,
Daniel.
the great
Where's Daniel?
grandchildren of Mordechai and
Where's
Rose.
Daniel? Mira's brother. Daniel.
Right.
Daniel, yeah, he's still alive. He's in Israel. Mira is in Israel. They're both alive.
These are your cousins. Your
My first
first cousins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're alive. They're now in Israel.
And Shula, of course.
Shula is Yaakov's Yamda's daughter.
Mm.
All the way at the
Shula
end.
was born.
All the way at the end.
Shula was born 1934. Yaakov's daughter in Ami was born 1938. They're still there. They still live in Israel. I can call my grandfather. His name was Zalman, and his wife was named Tolza. So they died long ago because my brother was born 1912. He was named already for his grandfather. So in Tulsa, my sister who died, she was a girl, a baby. She was named she was Tulsa. She was named for my grandmother. I never knew her, but I know they lived in city of Dobromil. Dobromil. I was there a couple of times. Anyway, my grandfather had a wholesale grain storage, which they had. They were several brothers and sisters. I know how many, I don't know. But one of the brothers took over my grandfather's business. His name was Shloime Segal. His wife was Yente Segal. Yente Segal, yes. And they paid off all the children remained. He paid off them the heritage, paid them off, and he remained in the business until World War II. He was also in the grain business until World War II. He was fairly wealthy.
Okay.